Good evening and welcome to high school football, the kickoff of the 2013 football season. This is game number 2 of the VisitNick.com Bowl in Nicholasville, Kentucky. It features the Eagles of Covington Scott High School against the West Jessamine High School Colts. Darren Douglas along with John Carmichael, Big John Carmichael, as we like to call him here. John, we saw game number 1, East Jessamine fall to 10th-ranked South Oldham in Class 5A by a score of 30-8. This one should be very entertaining. A couple of things to note of this one here. Under second-year head coach, the Eagles of Covington Scott High School, and Dan Woolley. If he sounds familiar, he played football locally, collegiately over at Georgetown College, a 2-time All-American for the Tigers.
Wow, that's big. And to get a guy to come into Scott like that and take over your program that has that kind of reputation, wow, watch out. Big things.
He took over for Dave Campbell, who was also a Georgetown College grad, was also the defensive coordinator for the Tigers.
That's the Georgetown connection.
That's the Georgetown connection. And here's the thing. They returned 17 of 22 starters, 9 on offense, 8 on defense, so experience the factor for the Eagles.
Yeah, they had experience and size. They got a lot of size up front.
As I mentioned, they're big up front. They got a couple of tackles. They go 6'5", 260, and 270. Apologize, we didn't hear that. Moment of silence here for a gentleman that really had a lot to do with Jessamine County and football and athletics in general here in the passing.
R.J. Corman passed away.
R.J. Corman. So, and R.J., of course, everybody, he's most famously known for his railroad, but also delivering Coach John Calipari under the heat of night, under the cover of night when he interviewed for the UK job. So just a lot of different things going on here. But we talked about Covington Scott, the 2 tackles. Cameron Krim, 6'5", 260. Corey Fitzwater, 6'5", 270. Good bet if they're going to run, they're going to be behind one of those 2 tackles.
Yeah, and they're going to give it to a young man named John Castleman, I believe.
Yeah, and you talk about running the football. How about the guy on the other side of the football for the Colts, Devin Taylor, 5'10", 210-pound senior running back. Led the state in rushing last year with over 2,400 yards.
If West Jessamine can somehow turn it around, get some wins, get in the playoffs, and he puts up those numbers again. Now, watch. I don't know. Drew Barker's probably already signed his card, signed the papers, but watch out.
I don't know. We talked about the young man, Decarius Fant, down at Bowling Green. He might have the Mr. Football written down as well. But go back to this one here. Let's talk about this. Taylor, 237 yards short. He needs 238 coming into this season to break the school's all-time leading rushing record.
Wow, that's big. His dad played there. His dad, one of the best athletes.
Is his dad OJ?
I'm not sure. Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, anybody that runs that well, it's Mr. You're right. Well, Scott High dressed in the white jerseys with the blue pants, the white helmets, and the unusual marking on the side. That is an eagle wing, courtesy of Oregon.
You know who their most famous alumni is?
From Covington Scott?
Yeah.
I went blank.
Doug Pelfrey.
I forgot. Thank you for helping me remember that. West Jessamine under first-year coach Yancey Markham. He comes into a program not left bare when it comes to athletic ability. He said they're going to be much quicker on the side of the ball defensively.
He said they want to play big boy ball, but they want to bully the other team. He said it's no secret what we're going to do. We're going to turn around. Jackson Pierce, I believe, is going to be the quarterback. We'll see, and he's going to turn around and give it to Devin Taylor. Well,
the offensive line anchored by a transfer from Alabama by the name of Brady Stevens. He'll take over at center. Last year's center, Colby Canner, slides over to guard.
Well, I mean, and that could be big, you know. You pick up another extra lineman who has some experience coming from a state like Alabama that plays, you know, big-time high school football. He comes in here and you move your center over. I mean, it's got to be good for your football team.
Looks like Jared Ballinger is kicking off for the Eagles of Scott, who will be moving right to left. I'm sorry, that is A.J. Burke moving right to left on your computer screen. It's a high, short kick, comes down, fielded at the 23-yard line. Up the middle of the field and knocked down just over the 25, maybe the 28-yard line. Actually, we'll give him about the 31, it looks like.
It was number 24, Luke Davis, on the return.
Boy, it's hard to see those West Jessamine numbers. Glad we got the computer screen there. It looks like is that 18 is the quarterback. That is
Jackson Pierce.
Jackson Pierce, the junior at quarterback for West Jessamine. The Colts wearing, as John pointed out when they came on the field for the first time I can ever remember, black pants.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
I've seen the light blue, I've seen the gray, I've seen the white.
The solid Columbia blue helmet.
That's old school, the old solid blue. Here's Taylor, a big hole up the middle. Off to the races he goes. He breaks a tackle at the 42, still on his feet. Cuts it back to the left inside the 25, down to the Scott 21-yard line.
It just gave me goosebumps right there, because let me tell you about this young man. He went to Purdue, camped at Purdue. He has improved his 40 time, down from 4.8 to 4.6.
How about 45 on your first carry of the 2013 season? He's off and running.
5'10", 210 pounds.
That's a load. It'll be 1st and 10 for West Jessamine on the opening drive of the ball game. The first play from scrimmage, Taylor rips off 45. They go 2 wide outs. They're really tight to the end of the line of scrimmage, both wide outs. They bring one now from the right back to the left. They'll set 2 of them that way to the left side. He'll set up as a tight end. I formation in the backfield. Pierce takes it, turns, pitches back to the wing back. Swinging left side, not much there. Maybe get 2.
Justin King on the carry.
Kind of an unusual formation from West Jessamine there. They get 2. Knocked down on the play by number, I believe that was 23, Anthony Ashford for Scott. Give him a short gain of 2. Be 2nd down and 8. On the opening possession of the game for West Jessamine. Wearing the black pants will be mentioned, the Columbia blue helmet, the red jerseys you see, Columbia blue numbers trimmed in white. Seems like a lot of teams going to that black, John.
Oh, yeah. Kind of the Oregon, as we're going to get a timeout on the field.
Timeout West Jessamine. I don't think Coach Markham liked what he sent in. It may be taking a long time to get the play in, too.
Kind of that metallic look. You get a look at Brady Stevens right there on the end, 62.
I mentioned a lot of transfers coming in here to all the schools in this district that West Jessamine is a part of. And if you're old school like us, John, and grew up around this area, and, of course, William growing up in this area too, you're glad to see the Jessamine schools, Woodford, Anderson, Montgomery, Franklin County, all playing in a district again.
Oh, yes, most definitely. I mean,
number 1, travel, but number 2, what about the rivalries, though, that these all schools had enjoyed over the years?
Oh, yeah. It's big time. It's great for these communities, and, people go back. There's a lot of people that work at Sylvania over here in Nicholasville, and they go over there, to Versailles, and you get to know people in that community, and then glad to be playing each other.
Just the rivalries. I mean, just the, back in the day when those teams both, say Jessamine County, the old Jessamine County played Woodford, both places were packed. Pierce turns, gives it to Taylor, hit in the backfield, shakes a tackle, still on his feet, and then gets drilled at about the 20-yard line.
One thing about Taylor, he will not go down on that first hit. We've already seen that.
Nathan Pinnock, 65 in white, stood up Taylor.
I think Pinnock, he goes both ways for that Scott team.
Chris Roberts, 22 in white. You might have seen, looked like he may have gotten a stinger there. He was kind of shaking that left arm, trying to shake out that feeling there.
Chris Roberts, I think a 3-year starter.
Tell you got some size on both sides of the ball. One for the offensive line for West Jessamine. That'd be something our viewers can watch, John, is the offensive line against the defensive front for Scott. That battle should be interesting to watch as the night goes on. Pierce, I formation in the backfield. They bring King in motion. They turn. They pitch it back to King. High toss. He'll rescue it. Gets a nice block from Taylor. Cuts it upfield. Breaks the tackle inside the 10. Down to the 9.
About lost his britches on that one.
Yeah, nice block by Taylor. We talk about Taylor's running ability, but he made a nice block. He got 2 for the price of 1.
I'll tell you, he's a solid athlete. And I'll tell you one thing that you see. I mean, it's just the confidence oozing from Pierce right now under center.
Yeah, well, the thing is when you got a back like Taylor, you can just turn and pitch it to him and just sit there and watch him run.
Decent size up front.
1st and goal for the Colts on the opening drive of the ball game. They've had it for almost 3 minutes. Pierce, I formation, double tight end. They turn, give it off to Taylor, running right side, untouched. He'll go in, give him 6.
Man, he just went off that right side, and boy, he laid the lumber down on Josh Castleman.
I tell you, the right side of that offensive line for West Jessamine absolutely collapsed that left defensive side for Scott. And West Jessamine made it look easy. They got 45 on their first play from scrimmage from Taylor. Then they run King for a few. And then Taylor covers the last 9.
I mean, what confidence of West Jessamine to come down there and drive down their opening drive, take it down, punch it in, and they give it to the main man, Taylor.
Bad snap. Kick is partially blocked. It's up and no good.
Oh.
Snap was too low, and the holder couldn't get it up on the tee, threw the timing off, and got partially blocked and still had it shot, but just went wide left. So with 9:06 to play in the opening quarter in game number 2 of the Visit Nick.com Bowl, it's 6-0 in favor of West Jessamine.
And we'll take this quick time out here to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Dr. Durbin, Wong, and Gardner of the Kentucky Central Orthodontics, 7 Central Kentucky locations. We can't forget Dallin Dental, 2 locations in Nicholasville and Harrodsburg. Town Square Bank, Main Street in Nicholasville. The Hayden Company on Main Street in Nicholasville. American Signs and Graphics, and the fine folks down there at Wildcat Wings. Stop in for the $5 combo special Monday through Friday.
Six 6-0 West Jessamine as they take the opening drive, and in 2 minutes and 54 seconds, they take a 6-0 lead after a botched extra point. A bad snap threw the timing off, John, and then it was partially blocked.
Well, I tell you what, Scott got a heavy dose of that run game, and Coach Markham, he's got to be pleased with the way Jackson Pierce looked under center.
Well, I tell you what, that goes back to the days of what they used to call the Galloping Colts. I can't remember, Frank Conyers, the head coach of Jessamine County High School, where West Jessamine's actually still in. Shane Napier's the kickers you see right there in the middle of your screen. He puts the toe to it. It comes down at the 10. Off to the right side, gets a seam, cuts it up. Here goes another good return. So both teams have really gotten good returns. That is Roberto London, a sophomore for Scott High School.
And in some of the comments that I read online, Coach talked about Roberto London, how great he looked in the preseason, and he talked about he's got to get that sophomore on the field.
Well, I tell you, if you got a sophomore with some talent, you're going to see him on the field. You'll see a lot of younger players. That's the thing about high school football. You're getting more and more younger players, sophomores, freshmen, getting a lot of playing. Boy, this is a bunch formation. They turn, give it off to the running back. That's Josh Castleman, the senior, 5'10", 170. That was a really tight formation. Everybody bunched in tight. And the quarterback, Ben Osborne, just turned and handed it off to Castleman.
I'll tell you that West Jessamine has a bear on the nose of that football.
Same formation. They turn. They're going to snap it short, and almost a botch. They were going to snap it to the up man. That's Dylan DeTata, the senior fullback, 44 and white. He couldn't grab it. They were going to snap it, direct snap to him. It went off his hands and recovered by Nick Brinkman.
Evan Collins in there, but number 59 for West Jessamine, James Smith.
That's a good shot right there from our field camera. Or that's actually William that's got that shot. You saw the size differential in the offensive line for Scott as Osborne cuts it up. He'll get the yardage back and then some. He'll get about 9, so he'll bring up fourth and a short yard.
Well, you see Fitzwater there.
He stands out, 73 and white. He kind of stands out a little bit, doesn't he?
6'5", 270.
Same formation.
And
they go again.
64. I haven't seen him yet. Let's see.
High snap, brought down Castleman off the right side. He has the first down and more. Down on the far sideline. They're going to say he stepped out of bounds, but I tell you what, I like this Castleman. He's got some quick feet.
He's got a little scoot in his boot.
He does, and I'll guarantee you with the Georgetown College connection that has been Scott High for the last 8 years, 6 under Coach Dave Campbell, and now the last 2 under Dan Woolley, Mr. Castleman is on the Georgetown College coaching staff's radar.
There's Crum out there, number 64.
Yep, he's not as tall. He looks like maybe 6'2", 6'3", maybe. Yeah. They turn. They give it off this time. The wing back. This is Brinkman, and he'll get about 15 yards down inside the Colts' 30-yard line. They're going to mark him down, I believe, at the 27-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Scott. So both teams giving each other's defense a full dose of in-your-face big boy, as you said, football.
Yeah, I mean, the Colts were back there, but he was able to split the defenders for the nice run.
They put Castleman in motion. They toss it back to him, swinging to the short side of the right side. He goes airborne over a defender and goes down close to the 20-yard line. He hurdled, it looks like, number 85, Hayden Keaton for West Jessamine. We'll give him 5 down to the Colt 23-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 5 for Scott. So out of the chute, West Jessamine gets a good kickoff return to start the game, and then they push it down the throat of Scott. Scott comes back with a nice drive of their own, doing the same thing. They direct snap it to the quarterback, Osborne. He goes straight up the middle. Going to get about 3, maybe 4. Going to be just shy of the 1st down at the 21-yard line. Give him 2. It'll be 3rd and 2 for Scott.
You see Pinnock on that offensive line.
Yeah,
he goes
64. He's to the left there. If you can't see him, he stands out. And his running mate on the other side, the bookend, they're 73 in white. And the fullback's no small thing. And Dylan DeTata, he looks to be about every bit of 240, 250. Osborne back to Castleman. Nice play.
Yeah.
That's Taylor on the bottom of the pile. A run blitz call from the West Jessamine defensive coordinator, and Taylor stops Castleman for a loss of maybe a yard. So it'll be 4th and 3.
Nice read that time by the defense.
Well, you had to dial up a run blitz, though. If you're the defensive coordinator and Coach Markham for West Jessamine, you hate to call blitzes. You want to try to man up with them and play just straight defense, but if you got to dial up a blitz to stop a run, then the big guys up front for Scott are doing their job. It is short, and we get Taylor offsides, but if Taylor was in the neutral zone, then it's going to be encroachment on West Jessamine. It's Penman, I'm sorry.
They look the same.
Instead of 11, it's 1.
Built about the same, aren't they?
Now, if he ran into, here's the thing. This is what they're going to call illegal procedure against Scott. Now, the reason why I'm saying that, if Penman gets into the neutral zone and causes the tight end for Scott, which is 81, Nick Wolf, to move, then that would be encroachment on the defense. But he got the call against Wolf.
Oh, look at him come after.
Yeah, that blitz coming. King's got a hold of Osborne, and Osborne dropped for a loss, or are they going to call it an incomplete pass? He tried to throw it, but I think they're going to call it a sack.
I'll tell you what.
Turnover on downs.
Alex Penman and Justin King, they've come to play for the Colts.
Well, Coach Markham in the preseason said they're going to be quicker on defense than they were a year ago. And it looks like they're going to be very aggressive on defense as well.
So they're going to give multiple looks.
So a turnover on downs after a very promising drive for Scott to answer the opening drive for West Jessamine. And the Colts have it at their own 28-yard line. So they called it a sack instead of an incomplete pass.
So, looking at that sideline of West
they've got some
Jessamine,
size on the sideline as well. And we get a quick timeout. This may be that heat advisory timeout, even though we are in game number 2. It is a cooler time of the day, but officials have been advised to take breaks whenever possible, especially early in the season.
You know, we talked about the new uniforms. Now it looks like the black pants kind of have a camouflage look. It's kind of weird.
Some kind of design coming throughout the thing. So, of course, you know, kids are, they are all about the game of football and how to play it and stuff, but they want to look good too. Yeah. By doing it,
Well, I think that's what Oregon has done for football.
Yeah. Well, Oregon's brought more flash to the game. The one thing I do not like about the Oregon uniforms is that highlighter yellow. Ugh.
Yeah. Whew. Well, Kentucky.
It's not bad. It's not bad looking at it when you're in the stadium, maybe, but on television, it's hideous.
Yeah, and Kentucky's going to get a lot of that look being a Nike school now.
Yeah. Of course, I think they're more going towards. The talk is they're going to some kind of gunmetal gray color as well.
Gunmetal gray.
Yeah. Huh? It's a darker gray, but it's not black. It's not gray. It's somewhere in between there. 1st and 10 for West Jessamine, who lead at 6-0. They turn, give it off to Taylor, tripped up in the backfield and dropped. Stumbled forward, may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
That's Crum in there, wasn't it?
That was Krim, yeah. Cameron Krim, 6'5", 260.
I'll tell you, with Taylor, there's no quit in him, though. He was fighting for everything he could get.
He did get back to the line of scrimmage. Be 2nd and 10, John. Krim, I tell you, he's going to be a load defensively for West Jessamine to deal with up front.
When you look at him, though, he's got that body like this guy's going to put on another 30 pounds.
Oh, easy. He can, no doubt about it, when he gets to the college level. Pierce, under center, has a tight end in the left, 2 receivers to the right. Straight eye in the backfield, turns, pitches to Taylor, has a crease. He's gone. He's inside midfield, inside the 40, to the 30, cuts it back. Trying to cut it all the way back and goes down the 12, maybe the 11-yard line.
Wow.
I said he needs 238 to set the school's all-time rushing record. He's begging for it here in the first quarter.
Yeah. He's knocking on the door. Is anybody home? I'll tell you what, if he stays healthy and these other Colts can step up, it's going to be a nice year for them.
Yeah, I really think so. And here's the thing. Here's the key. He has to stay healthy, but those 5 guys up front have to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You may have some depth in there, but those 5 up there that have forged themselves as the number 1s, they have to stay healthy. Rip off another 45 or so from Taylor. And it's 1st and goal for West Jessamine, looking to increase on a 6-0 lead. They turn. They give it off to Penman, the fullback. And not your typical fullback either.
No.
He's, maybe 185?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But he's built like
pretty solid,
brick house.
Give him a couple down to the 7-yard line.
We were talking about Krim earlier. I believe Indiana State, Murray State, some of the schools looking at him.
2nd and goal for West Jessamine. They lead it 6-0 with 3:34 in the clock running here in the opening quarter. Game number 2 of the VisitNick.com Bowl. Pierce turns, gives it off to Penman again. He'll get to the 6. That's all. Blake Gay, the first one there, 74 in white, and then a whole host of others. 55 in white we don't have. We need to figure out who 55 is. In white for
Trey Davis.
Scott. There he is down at the bottom.
Got 2 numbers.
Okay.
Got the home number and the away number.
I guess, somebody must have swiped a jersey, huh? Or forgot to bring it back. It'll be 3rd and goal now from the 6-yard line for West Jessamine. They go a tight end to the right side. They actually go unbalanced to the right. Got an extra blocker in there. They turn, give it off to Taylor. Hit in the backfield and dropped.
That's Krim.
Krim is going to finish him off, but William Teasley, number 9, was the first one there. He came untouched.
I can see why these college coaches. I think Krim will be playing on the defensive side of the ball.
I think you're right. I'm more impressed with him on the defensive side of the ball right now. That might be why he's going both ways. So it'll be 4th and goal for West Jessamine. From the 7-yard line of Covington Scott. The Colts lead it 6-0. Pierce under center. He turns, fakes it, gives it to King, in trouble, and dropped. Nice defensive play by number 36, and then a dumb play by 36 for the wolfing at him afterward. That's an unsportsmanlike, and that's probably going to be, it's a dead ball foul. Scott will get the football, I believe, is how this is going to work. Let's see.
Logan Herzog
made a great play defensively, and then the taunting, and that's a no-no. Now, the key is, was it a dead ball taunt or was it a live ball? If it was after the play, which I believe it was, it'll be a turnover on downs. Mm-hmm. And Scott will get the ball, but unfortunately they'll be inside their own 5-yard line or somewhere close to that. So a nice defensive stop from the Eagles to turn away a Colt drive.
Yeah. Nice play. Just got to control those emotions.
Yeah, I mean, football is a game of emotion, but there is a time to do it and a time not to do it. The time not to do it is when you're 3 feet away from an official.
Yeah.
And it's you and only the ball carrier over there. So Scott has it 1st and 10 from their own 7-yard line. They turn, give it off to Castle. He'll sweep the right side, looking for a hole, doesn't have one, still cuts it up, gets something, and may have 10, maybe 11 yards out of it. Boy, he's a very patient runner, though, John. That's a pretty good example of it. He waited, kind of waited for his blocks, then turned it up, didn't see nothing there he wanted, kind of probed. He's almost like a probing type runner. He's just really very patient.
It gives everything a chance to develop.
Lets his blockers get their blocks. He'll set up his blockers. So as a lineman, you would probably have to love his running style. He got a 1st down, gave him 11 on the play, so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Eagles as we're under 2 to play in the opening quarter. They turn, they give it off to Brinkman, and Brinkman going to be drugged down for a short gain by
Ian Cossack.
Cossack, a senior, 6'2", 225 for the Colts.
Nice size.
I say for a short gain, he's actually been dropped for about 1.5 yards loss, so it'll be 2nd and 11.
One thing I noticed about the Colts, they got a lot more speed on that defense this year.
And that's what Coach Markham said the other day in an interview. Said they were going to be a lot faster on that side of the ball so they could be more aggressive. They bring Brinkman in motion. They turn, fake to I think he wanted to give it to Castleman. He missed him. Here goes the quarterback Osborne, who takes a broken, busted play and turns it up for a 1st down.
And I tell you what, he was just a half a step ahead of Penman.
Yep.
He would have had him for a sack and just.
Well, it was a busted play. Osborne turned, looked like he was going to try to give it to Castleman on the sweep going right. Castleman got there too fast. He missed him, and Osborne didn't panic. He just turned it up behind Castleman, and Castleman showed his versatility by getting a nice block to lead him. Here's the direct snap to the big fullback, Dylan Datata.
Rumble and bumble.
Kind of built like Robert Newhouse.
Yeah.
I'm really showing my age. I'm reaching back now. Robert Newhouse, the blocking fullback for the many long runs of Tony Dorsett.
25 more pounds and we'd call him the fridge.
Close. So Deltata gets 9. It's 2nd and 1. Castleman again cutting it up. In trouble. Goes down, and boy, that was close to a flag. You see Coach Woolley over there right in the middle of your screen saying, hey, a little bit extra close to that sideline.
That was Cody Anderson in there on the play that time.
Nice defensive play by Wes Jessamine, because Scott's run that same play 3 or 4 times to that short side. May want to get Castleman out here to the right side, or to the wide side with that patient running, let his blocks develop. Might be interesting time. They've used the same formation every time up. Here's Brinkman hitting the backfield and dropped.
Yeah, Darren, West Jessamine, they're making a living back there in that backfield right now. I mean, it's, when the Crum and Fitzwater and those guys get tired and Pinnock.
Cody Anderson on the stop for the Colts. It'll be 3rd, actually 4th, and about 5.
It'll come down to see who's got enough in the tank, Well,
it's been an entertaining first quarter. We're through 1 quarter of play here in Nicholasville. It's West Jessamine 6, Covington Scott nothing. Tonight's sponsors for the game here in Nicholasville, the visitnick.com bowl. That's a whole mouthful to say.
Yeah.
Dr. Durbin, Wong, and Gardner, Kentucky Center for Orthodontics, 7 Central Kentucky locations. Also, Dowling Dental, 2 locations, both one in Nicholasville and one over in Harrodsburg. Town Square Bank, downtown Main Street in Nicholasville. And you haven't been to Nicholasville, speaking of Main Street, in a while. The renovation that seemed like forever. Downtown Nicholasville. Very
ready
pretty.
To get started on that again with some masked arm signals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Run that by me again, some masked arm.
Masked arm signals. It's where you have one on one corner and one on the opposite corner.
Oh.
You do away with the wires, all the wires at the
Okay,
top.
no wires over there. Okay.
Yeah.
I was lost there for a minute. You need to explain this to us laymen. Also, American Signs and Graphics, the Hayden Company, also on downtown Nicholasville on Main Street, and Wildcat Wings, where you can stop in for the $5 combo specials Monday through Friday.
Hey, I'm going to go down there Monday. So, Wildcat Wings, you better be ready.
That's a warning. Was that a warning or just a heads up?
They need to have a wing eating contest. I want to enter.
Oh, boy.
Tell them to say they heard it on PrepSpin.
Oh, yeah.
And tell them when you folks go down there, say you heard that on PrepSpin.
Tell him Big John said you heard him. Castleman hit in the backfield and dropped, and Scott will turn it over on downs. I understand you're getting some positive yardage at times if you're Scott, but you're only down 6-0. Punt the ball deep. You've let Taylor rip off a couple of big runs. Now you give West Jessamine their whole playbook available to them here at your 47-yard line to take over.
Exactly. I mean, and we know what West is going to do. They're going to give it to Taylor right here, and this is what he loves. Now that he's going to ground it out.
I did get a text message earlier today down in Owensboro, Kentucky. Happy Osborne is watching tonight.
All right.
He's not out recruiting, believe it or not. The new head basketball coach at Kentucky Wesleyan. So Happy, glad you're with us.
I actually met Happy one time at a golf scramble in Georgetown at
and
Cherry Blossom.
Talking all the time, wasn't he, too?
Yeah.
Hand off to Taylor. He's still not going down. He drives forward. Going to get about 5 after the initial contact. It'll be 2nd down and 5 for West Jessamine from the Scott 42-yard line. Give him 4, actually, to the 43. Actually, he did get 5. He's closer to the 5, so we'll give him 5.
Actually played with a friend of mine that Happy probably knows, David Thacker.
I do know David, too.
His father-in-law used to own the Ford dealership, I believe, in Georgetown.
I think so. 6-0 West Jessamine. They controlled the clock with their running game. Penman, the fullback, in front of Taylor. They turn and give it off to Taylor, off the left side. Bangs it down close to the 40. Going to be shy of the first down at the 41.
You know, if this West Jessamine team could get a lead, they could just pound it between the tackles with him.
I tell you what, in this district, you're going to have West Jessamine is going to run the football a lot. Looks like East Jessamine is going to try to run it. I know Woodford County wants to run it. Woodford piled up 365 yards of rushing in the scrimmage against Henry Clay last week. So you got 3 teams. We may have some fast football games in this district this year, John.
Oh, yeah.
Officials timeout for a measurement. He's going to be closer to the first down than first thought. So we'll get this. See if William can get right down there on the yard line.
Now, didn't this?
See how close we are.
This West Jessamine team, they played Anderson County right to the nail.
Right down to the nail. Of course, Anderson played Franklin County actually had Anderson had Franklin beat. They get the first down with Taylor just inside the 32-yard line. So 1st and 10 for West Jessamine. But Anderson had Franklin County beat. And then for some unexplained reason, the final kickoff, they decide to kick it deep, and Ryan Timmons, as the clock expires, takes it to the house and sends Franklin County on to the state semis. I never figured that one out. Why kick it deep to that guy? 1st and 10 for West Jessamine. They have a wing back to the left, the wide out to the right. The I formation with Taylor dotting it in the backfield. They've flip-flopped the wing back and the tight end to the right side. Pierce turns, tosses to Taylor that way. He stumbles and falls. To clean up on the tackle was number 86, Mason Sexton, for Scott. Taylor gets back to the line of scrimmage. Actually, they're going to give him a loss of 1. He tried to plant that right foot and stumbled. And Mason Sexton right there to clean him up just to make sure he didn't regain his footing.
Out. Darren, I'm kind of looking at this West Jessamine offensive line.
Glad you picked that up there.
Yeah, only 1 senior out there right now, so got a sophomore, Kobe Canner, out there.
Pierce under center, wide outs both ways. They turn, give it off to Taylor. They string him out and run him out of bounds here on the near side. And a nice play defensively by Roberto London, the sophomore for Scott. And I tell you what, over the last 10 years, I've seen some good running backs. Taylor right at the top of that list, but I saw a kid by the name of J.J. Jude.
J.J. Jude.
Up at Johnson Central, an unbelievable running back for the Golden Eagles up there in Johnson County.
It was the kid from Everett that won Mr. Football.
Scott Russell.
Scott Russell, he was tough.
Yep, they turn, they fake it. Pierce going to throw the ball and overthrows King, and a diving attempt at an interception by Andrew Hicks. But that play, Pierce actually bootlegged it out to the right side defensively. I believe that was Sexton that came upfield and made Pierce throw it a little too early. King was open, but Pierce had to throw it before he was ready, and missed King pretty badly. So it's fourth down, and about 6 from the Scott 32-yard line.
I know Coach Markham, he liked Pierce the way he could throw the ball.
King will come here to the short side. The wing back is Keaton. They turn, they pitch it back to Taylor. He'll cut it upfield, be close to the first down. Looks like he's got it to the 25.
And he knows what to do. Lays out, puts that football just like all the pros do.
Yeah, well, I tell you, they had him pretty much hemmed in, but he lowered the shoulder to get the first down. It's 1st and 10, West Jessamine.
Connor Welch, number 75, out there fired up.
9.5 to play. First half.
Grandfather Donnie Welch runs the Jessamine County Youth Football.
That's a name from the past. I have a connection over here. Jimmy Greer, who's on the sidelines for West Jess. I've literally grown up around him.
Mm-hmm.
Pierce has Keaton to the left, King back to the right. The I formation, new fullback in there, and we get a whistle as Cody Anderson. And I believe we're going to get movement along the offensive front for West Jessamine.
Devin Taylor is a workhorse. I think you could just hand it to him every play.
Well, he's kind of like Sean Alexander was in his days at Boone County. He's like Donnell Gordon, those kind of guys that can carry a ball a ton of times.
Well, there used to be some great running backs. The kid Donnie Red out of Danville.
Oh, Red, Red wasn't big, but I tell you what, they had under Sam Harper over there. All they had to do was get a crease, and they had so much speed in that backfield. It looked like they shot out of a cannon. Every one of them. Kelvin Turner and Kevin Alcorn, all that group.
And was you surprised Sam Harp leaving?
Yes and no. He's been around a long time.
Yeah.
I think he figured he'd done all he could do in the state of Kentucky. Went to Tennessee. Pierce turns, pitches back to King, sweeping left, gets a block from Taylor, cuts it up, he's in the clear. Cuts it back to the right side, he'll go in and give him 6. 12-0 West Jessamine. But we do have a penalty flag behind the play. Hold the phone back at the 32-yard line, a hold. And it'll be from the spot of the foul, so it'll be 1st and about 25 now.
That was a beautiful run there. I guess the hold would have. That's what helped.
That may have helped, yeah.
But it was a nice cutback that time by there.
And we talked about the patience of Castleman. King showed it right there for West Jessamine. So a nice touchdown run from King, nullified by the holding penalty. And now we have 1st and about 30 for West Jessamine. Not quite yet the proverbial country mile, but we're approaching that distance. So 1st and a long way for West Jessamine. At the Scott 42-yard line. They lead it 6-0 with 8:08, as you can see on our screen, to play in the opening half. Pierce back to throw. He lets it fly down the middle of the field. Looking, it is tipped by number 6. That is Ray Everett. And then almost into the hands of number 5, Carter Hahn for West Jessamine.
Carter's lucky he didn't get a flag thrown there when he came up pushing.
We do have a flag, though, as you see on our screens. We come back near the line of scrimmage.
It was 21 that pushed.
Okay, it was 21 was King instead of Hahn, the one that is lucky he didn't draw a flag. But there is one on West Jessamine anyway on the line of scrimmage. And I believe it was another hold.
And now you do have the country mile.
Yeah, you're right there now. And believe it or not, folks, in the 30 years I have been doing this, I have not seen yet somebody approach the distance I saw on 1st and, how about 1st and 75? How about, and yeah, there were 3 personal foul penalties on the play. Here's a handoff, and I believe that is Taylor again. Nope, yeah, that's Taylor.
Yeah.
And he stood up.
Number 59 in there.
That's Elijah Miller, a junior for Scott. Yep. And I say 3 personal foul penalties, 2 were dead ball, and 1 was a live ball. So
Wow.
Yeah, 1st and 75. That was a country mile and a half. It'll be 2nd down, and we'll call it 35 for West Jessamine. Pierce turns, gives it off to Taylor, who dances and darts through the hole. They rip at the football, but get it out late after he's down. We'll give him another 5 or 6 there. Stop on the play by number 59. That's Miller again for Scott. It'll be 3rd down for West Jess.
This game is moving along.
I think we've had 3 passes attempted on both sides of the ball total. So it's not going to be a lot of stoppage in time.
Yeah.
Pierce, under center, not too many people wide. They turn, pitch it back to Taylor. He'll cut it up, and it's straightened up right there at about the 35-yard line by Krim and London. So the senior and the sophomore combined for Scott to stop the senior running back from West Jessamine. Go back and talk. Like I said, I've been doing this a long time, John, and I've seen some great running backs. And I saw Scott Russell from Everett's, who is no longer that school is no longer in existence. They combined with Cumberland High School, Everett's, and I can't remember the third one to make Harlan County High School.
Very good team.
Coach Tom Larkey and West Jessamine going to call a timeout. Thank our sponsors again, Doctors Durbin, Wong, and Gardner, Kentucky Center for Orthodontics with 7 Central Kentucky locations. Dowling Dental with 2 locations in Nicholasville and Harrodsburg. Town Square Bank on Main Street here in Nicholasville. The Hayden Company also in downtown Nicholasville. American Signs and Graphics, and of course Wildcat Wings out on, I guess that would be, what do they call that? That's Nicholasville Road if you're coming from Lexington. What do they call that here?
It'd be
They call that Lexington Road?
North Main.
North Main.
Yeah.
Kind of Wildcat Wings.
Beside the auto parts store there.
Who have been served notice. John Carmichael will be there Monday. You have a time frame for them so they'll be ready.
Hey, folks, and when you go in there, tell them PrepSpin sent you.
Yeah. Get some extra special treatment if you say Big John Carmichael sent you. Okay.
You go in there and tell them you want the garlic Parmesan wings.
You were recommending those a while ago. And William says honey barbecue out of the corner here.
Yeah, he don't like hot stuff.
Ever so often, if you hear a voice you don't recognize, that's Williams. Our producer / cameraman / my ride home tonight. You broadcast more games than me in 30 years? I don't know, man. I've been around the world. Been a long time. I tell you, I don't know, look a day over 25, do I? They turn, they give it off to Taylor. This time a little cross-action play, a counter, and Taylor's still on his feet. Boy, I tell you what Scott's doing, though, John. He's not going down. Taylor's not going down on first contact, but they're holding him up and letting help come and ripping at the football.
Yeah.
So Taylor's going to have to really take care of the football because Scott's coming in there with the second and third guys going after the ball. And another illegal motion. If I'm Coach Dan Woolley, I say I'll decline that penalty and we'll take the football. As they stop West Jessamine on downs. And West Jessamine, Scott stops them on downs, yes, but West Jessamine, their worst enemy in that one with a couple of illegal procedure and a holding penalty in that series that backed them up. But if you're Coach Woolley of Scott, you got to be happy with that defensive stand.
Oh, yeah.
Same formation they've been in all night, and this time they have nobody wide, and there's the shoe leather look from Scott. They have 3 receivers out in the formation. They hit Brinkman wide open down the left side, inside the 40. He's got one man to beat, breaks his tackle, steps out of bounds inside the 25, and Scott is in business at the West Jessamine 24-yard line on a big pass play from Osborne to Brinkman.
I'll tell you what, he was wide open right across the middle there. And Coach Markham, he doesn't like that, I'd say, right now.
Well, he was the wingman, as you see in the spot he's in right now. He kind of got lost in all the traffic coming across the formation. And Osborne found him. They turn. They snapped it again
The
to
ball's on the
Delatata.
ground.
The
It's
ball's still
there.
loose. And I think Scott's got it back, although there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on underneath those piles. And Scott did get it back, or did West Jessamine get it? They say Scott had it.
Carter Hahn came up with it. He's saying white ball.
White ball, as you can leap. White ball, he had it and was down. He's going to say the ground. Okay, now the headmen, they're talking.
He's saying no.
Let's see what they're going to do here. I have no idea what that hand signal is. Do you? Look like he was using his remote control.
He's like,
I think what they're going to rule was he was down by contact.
I think he was asking for the replay.
I guess, but nonetheless, it's a first down for Scott. And here we go. They give it off to Castleman, sweeping right side. Nice play, almost a stop in the backfield. And Castleman then just lowers his shoulder and delivers the blow to Keaton, who he pats on the back as they both get up. And Castleman's showing, hey, I might not be as gifted physically as Taylor, but I can lower the shoulder and get a couple of extra yards.
Nice sportsmanship there, and picked him up.
And we have a hold coming up on Scott that got him around the corner. But I tell you what, if you're a football fan and the age of the air raids and the run and shoots and the spread offenses and all the throwing of the ball around the ballpark and the countryside and everything else, you got to like watching Taylor and Castleman run. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know, this is old style school football. It may not be the line them up in the I formation. Well, West is in the I, but, you know, it's not that. It's not the wishbone. It's here we come.
Stop us if you can.
Yeah. It's the old Texas and Oklahoma. Back to throw is Osborne. Nobody open. He'll run it down, and, yep, face mask coming. And Osborne, I tell you what, and now we're going to get another flag. And I don't know if they're going to get Osborne for unsportsmanlike, but they're going to definitely get the face mask on West Jessamine's Cossack. And somebody said, well, how in the world do you grab him like that? Well, when you're a defender and you're trying to catch a guy who's scrambling around and
you're just
reaching. You're reaching for whatever you can grab, and unfortunately, he got the face mask. So there is a 5-yard penalty now for face mask, an inadvertent face mask in high school football. Personal foul. They're going to say, I think they're getting the dead ball because he was out of bounds already as well. So I don't know if they're getting him for the face mask, but they're definitely getting him for maybe the little extra out of bounds because he didn't make the signal for a face mask. He put dead ball, personal foul. Now, that's what we're going to get here. Dead ball, personal foul against West Jessamine, and that must have been the only flag. I thought I saw 2. Did you see 2?
I seen another one come
unless the official tried to throw the flag and it got hung on his hand, he threw it again.
Yeah.
Well, nonetheless.
Stuck it in the wrong pocket, didn't he?
Yeah, well, a 15-yard penalty on West Jessamine has been assessed, and I think was that it? Did West take another timeout, or was this charged to Scott? Did you see?
I think that was West.
So West Jessamine now with 1 timeout left remaining with 4:52 to play.
Got to look there at the new head coach, Yancey Markin, wearing the
gray. Right, your screen right there he is.
Still looks like he could play today.
With his back to you. You got the battle scars there on that right arm to prove it, too. Look at the big scar there on the right elbow. Don't have any other reports tonight. Franklin County out of this district, that West and East, of course, are in, and we keep talking about, was at home tonight against North Bullitt. Woodford County was on the road at Nelson County. Last report we have that first quarter, Nelson on top 14-0, but they have one of the better running backs that you haven't heard of down in the western part of this. Well, I don't want to say the western part, but west of here, down in Bardstown. Can't think of the young man's name. He's been a 3-year starter for the Cardinals. Anderson County, I think, is playing tomorrow night. Here's a handoff up the middle to Castleman. Touchdown, give him 6. He went straight up the gut. And I mean, when I say straight up the gut, he went right behind the center. And a flag on the far side there as you see it, and we're going to get unsportsmanlike on Scott.
Well, that's twice now.
And it is a touchdown, so 6-0. Well, I tell you what, I think we see one emphasis on a rule. They really are going to stress sportsmanship.
Yeah.
No taunting, no extra celebration or anything like that.
Well, I guess we know why they keep giving it to Castleman. He's going to make something happen.
Well, I tell you what, he went right behind the center. I mean, when I say up the gut, most people say the guards or the center. Well, he went right behind the center. I mean, he latched on to his center's backside and darted off to the left side.
Be one of those running backs that you just give it to, it to, and he just wears you down.
Kind of like Taylor. Here's the point after attempt. It's up and it's good. So with 4:43 to play before halftime, Scott High School has taken the lead over West Jessamine 7-6 here in Nicholasville for the Visit Nick.com Bowl. And John, we've got to look at some of the top players according to, I assume this would be Mike Fields.
You're probably right. I was looking for your Bardstown player, but I don't see him on
from
here.
Nelson County.
Nelson County.
Yeah, there's too many other great players.
Yeah.
I mean, you go down here. I've seen a couple of these kids play. Of course, I've seen Elijah Bell up close and personal from Henry Clay. I got so much trouble a couple of weeks ago on a show I did. I said Elijah Bell might be the best running back in Lexington. And I really mean that. As far as the 5 public high schools, I've seen a lot of them play. I think he may be the best running back of the 5 public schools in Lexington.
A running back over at Lexington Catholic that
Logan?
Yeah, Marcellus Logan. He doesn't get the carries that all these other backs get, but man, he can make things happen.
Right. And just what with Bell is the fact I like the way he runs the football. He's not big, 5'9", 180, but he is like Taylor. He's like Castleman. Give him the ball 15, 20, 25 times, he's going to get you some yards. Got Nicarius Fant way down here. Austin Askin, St. X, will be in Lexington next week. Askin and the Tigers will be here taking on Lexington Catholic in the Bluegrass Bowl next week.
Yeah.
That's game number 1. The other game, how about Bowling Green and Bryan Station?
Wow. Ora Johnson, I believe, over Bryan Station.
Yep.
No, they got some talented football players over there.
If there's any team that can match speed for speed, it will be Bryan Station. This is a high kick, short, fielded on the fly, and I believe that's number 3, Carson Ball for
who is the coach over
West
there
Jessamine at St. X?
No, Bryan Station.
Bryan Station, Henry Parks. He's in his 3rd year, I think.
3rd year. I was going to say, they had Craig Yeast. They had the guy they brought in from out west.
Dr. Oliver. Yeah. I can't think of his last name. He is now at DuPont Manual down in Louisville.
And Craig Yeast did a pretty good job, and he just stayed 1 year.
Well, he got a great offer he couldn't pass up. At the college ranks, and I can't blame him. But Will Warford, a long-time Buffalo Bill, is the new head man at St. X.
St. X, yeah.
For the first time in over 40 years, there's not a Glazer in charge of that Tiger program down there.
Glazer, yeah.
I formation. King split wide to the near side here. They turn, give it off to Taylor. Behind his pulling guard, he'll cut it back in behind that block and get down to the 45-yard line. A gain of 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5 for West Jessamine, who trail it now 7-6. The difference, a missed extra point for West Jessamine off a bad snap.
And they've drove down the football field 2 other times.
Yep. Now, of course, we're talking about Taylor and we talk about Castleman here. We talk about Bell and Logan in Lexington. Another pretty good one in this area over in Berea.
Oh, yeah.
Damian Harris, who's committed to Michigan.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed in that. I guess that's his.
Well, it's been his favorite. Oh my goodness.
Gosh.
Krim just played level the quarterback, and Pierce got a whole face full of 64 and white. That was totally a blown assignment up front. Krim came untouched, and Pierce had no chance.
I think he just got hungry and wanted a Big Mac.
And Pierce is feeling the effects as you see him right there. That's one of those as a quarterback you're going, oh my goodness. Anybody know what area code I'm in? Because he had no chance. As soon as he went back to set up, there was Krim. And you can see why he is a Division I or 1AA recruit.
Yeah.
Size, speed.
And like we mentioned before.
And the new quarterback is Carson Ball for West Jessamine. Is Pierce coming out for one play, it looks like at least. They turn, give it off to Taylor. Has a hole, gets it back down to the 45. It'll be 4th and 5 for West Jessamine.
And the one thing we mentioned about Krim, I mean, why college coaches are coming after him is he can put on 30 or 40 pounds.
Easy 30 or 40 pounds, and it'll all be muscle. As Ball will come back in, and I don't see at the bottom of my screen, I do not see Pierce. I do see him now down here as I look down with the naked eye. He's walking it off a little bit. He's down there to the right, down to the 40 as we look at it. 4th and 5 for West Jessamine and a timeout. Going to be called by who? Scott. So we're talking about some of these other players that we can see here. How about the quarterback from Trinity? How would you like to fill the shoes of the graduated two-time state champion?
Yeah.
Well, Chris Bonifant is going to try to do that for Trinity. They're at home tonight in Louisville on a television game nationwide against Innsworth, Tennessee.
Wow.
And if that name sounds familiar, Innsworth, just outside of Nashville, laid it on Lexington Catholic last year.
Yeah.
I think it was 56-7 was the final score. Another kid that a lot of people don't know about is the young man that was the quarterback, turned wide receiver and punt and kick returner for Jim McKee and the Cardinals at Scott County, Scott Daniel. Also a really good baseball player. Reese Ryan, Lexington Catholic, was a junior, good size, 6'2", 175.
Watched him play since he was in middle school.
Has a pretty good tight end to throw if they can keep him healthy, and Sam Lett, coach's son. They turn, hand it off to Taylor. He breaks the tackle in the backfield and then cuts it up at midfield and is dropped. And Scott will take over on downs right at the midfield stripe. Nice play defensively, led by number 55, Trey Davis for Scott.
And Scott defense is really, they've gotten fired up. They've got a fire in their belly now, and they're firing off the ball and making plays.
Well, after that first couple of drives from West Jessamine, somebody got in that Scott defensive huddle and woke them up. They really look very talented, and we're going to get a whistle. 2:08 is what they're that. If you're wondering why the stop of the clock, they want 2 minutes and 8 seconds on the clock.
I don't think we're going to see a punt in this game.
Hey, William, tell the clock keeper they want 2:08 on the clock. 2:08. Want 2:08 on the clock. And the only reason why I got that was because of Williams' camera shot from up here in the press box. Got right up there where I could lip read the official. 2 minutes and 8 seconds left before halftime. Scott with a 7-6 lead, as you see on the screen there. The VisitNick.com Bowl. In case you didn't join us earlier, you can watch game number 1 via the archives here on PrepSpin.com. They turn. Osborne gives it off to Castleman. Jump steps out to the right side, cuts it up, run out of bounds. And then he hits that concrete or whatever it is for the track. Well, it's not. That's actually that's. I don't know what that is. Is that asphalt that's painted green or something?
No, it's like a green carpet.
He went. It looked like me walking across the ice.
Carpet,
it looked like me walking across the ice.
That's I guess so they keep the players out of the mud.
I guess.
But I'll tell you what, he's good at getting to that corner, and if he gets it, watch out.
Well, he's got that little move. I haven't seen it from Taylor tonight, but Casman got that hole, made that little jump to the right. Barry Sanders used to do that. He used to jump around like that. They turn, give it off to Brinkman, who cuts it back up for a couple. Knocked down there by the big man you see right in the middle of your screen, James Smith, the junior. 59 for West Jessamine. 1:45 clock running before halftime in what has been a very entertaining but low-scoring ball game.
James Smith reminds me of a guy when I played football over at Texas Creek they used to call the Bear.
Did he wrestle a bear?
No, it wasn't that bear, but he was a bear.
He was a bear? Played for Coach Roy Walton, huh? Is that who you played for?
It was.
Or you played for Coach Ruddle?
I played over at Henry Clay.
But you play for Jake Bell. Nice.
Yeah.
Castleman cuts it up. Somehow got through a little crease and was able to, I think, pick up the first down for Scott. He did. He stepped out where? At the 35-yard line, and another first down for Scott. So you play for Dr. Jake Bell. Excuse me.
Head of the SEC officials now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so, since he got his doctorate. It's been a long time as the head coach over there at Henry Clay, then became athletic director, and then became principal, and I think has since retired. Am I correct?
Well, he's now the head of SEC officials.
Basketball or football?
Basketball.
Okay.
That's who Slive brought in.
Osborne throws a quick screen over there to Wolf, the tight end, who cuts it up and gets down inside the 30-yard line. I think they got him to the 29, or they're going to put it right on the 30. They're going to put it right on the 30. So a gain of 5, 2nd and 5. I tell you, the offensive coordinator for Scott does a nice job of running a lot of plays to the short side. And then when they do go wide, West Jessamine right now is over pursuing a little bit to that side. Osborne steps up, lets it fly down the middle of the field, looking for Brinkman, but overshot him.
Good coverage that time by the Colts.
Yep, King back there, along with Keaton. Another Colt back there that was out of the picture. Couldn't tell who it was. So 3rd and 5.
Nice little arm there.
Did, but he threw into some coverage there. He had double coverage, and then King came over also.
He threw a pretty ball. Let's say.
Well, it was pretty, yeah. As a quarterback, former quarterback coach, offense coordinator, I'm going, oh, no, why are you throwing into coverage?
But then you say, ooh, that was
then,
pretty.
Yeah. And then when it hits the turf, you're like, shoo. So it'll be 3rd and 5 with 37 seconds to play in the opening half of action from Nicholasville. Snap to Osborne. Castleman looks like he wants to throw it. He is. He's going to throw it, and that one was a wounded duck. That one looked like it was shot out in the middle of the air as Castleman. I know they probably worked on that 1,000 times, but, man, that throw was ugly.
Wounded duck. Are you a fan of Duck Dynasty?
Duck Dynasty, my favorite character on there, believe it or not.
Now, Phil Robinson.
Is Cy.
Oh, Cy, yeah.
Cy's my favorite character.
But Phil, I think he was the quarterback at Louisiana Tech before Terry Bradshaw.
I was going to say, who was the famous Hall of Famer? A little bit. Cy really reminds me of my dad, so they could be twin brothers. Osborne rolls right, looking downfield, has nobody open, and we'll just throw it incomplete in front of the intended receiver, Logan Herzog. So it'll be 4th and actually a turnover on downs for Scott.
Nice stand that time by West Jessamine.
Very good stand. Looked like Scott got a little bit greedy maybe with that first down pass over the middle of Brinkman, but try to get points on the board before halftime. I can understand that because they'll get it to start the second half. 23.1, and if you're Coach Markham, John, what do you do here? Do you try to break one big? Nope, they're going to go.
Yeah,
they're going to take a knee and take it to the house for the halftime.
Coach Markham will do. He'll take a knee. Don't want to take any chances.
A lot of people may not agree with that, but I think that's the smart play to take here if you're Coach Markham. You don't try to risk turnover and give Scott the ball back inside 25 to play in the half. A lot of action, but not a lot of scoring in this one. It's Scott out of Northern Kentucky leading West Jessamine here at halftime by a score of 7-6. We'll be back at East Jessamine High School in Nicholasville, Kentucky. You're taking a look at West Jessamine's Colts. They're locked up in a good one here at halftime with Covington Scott. You see the Eagles of Scott lead over West Jessamine 7-6 here at halftime. Darren Douglas along with John Carmichael and our producer William Warfield as we are in game number 2, halftime. And the Colts and Eagles locked up in a tight one. Been a very exciting first half of action. A lot of offense, but not a lot of points. Had some critical turnovers, or penalties on both teams. Scott County leads over Lafayette 56-16 in the second quarter. Is that right? Holy smokes. I knew Scott was good, but my goodness. 56 first quarter points. We're going to get that. There's a new rule change in the KHSAA this year. The running clock one goes from 45 points to 36. So Running clock in effect over there. Unfortunately for my good friend and new head coach at Lafayette, Eric Shaw, they're taking it on the chin tonight. 56-16, Scott County over Lafayette in the first half. So that score I just gave, Scott County 56-16 over Lafayette in the second quarter.
Wow.
So the Cardinals of Scott County showing why the head Trinity beat last year in the state semifinals, only to lose 21-17.
Well, I'll tell you what, Darren, you go out in the stands and you don't know who you meet.
Yeah.
Barry Rich, former UK player. And here his son goes to her son plays for the Nicholasville Panthers, first year playing football. He's got a daughter in 8th grade at the middle school. He's helping out the West middle school a little bit.
We're getting a lot of these former players, though, filtering in to help out programs. Here we go, underway with the second half kickoff. This is London from the 10. Off to the right side, breaks a tackle, and will run out of bounds. No, he'll lower that shoulder and get up over the 40. So Scott with good field position to start the second half and a 1-point lead.
And that was that sophomore. We mentioned him earlier, and looks like he's going to be a solid kick returner for this team.
Very patient. I thought he was going to be run out of bounds, but he lowered that shoulder and delivered the blow. But, you were talking about Mr. Rich down here just a moment ago. Mr. because he's bigger than I am. But got a new resident over in my neck of the woods in Versailles, where I live, Chad Pennington, the former New York Jets quarterback. And I believe he's on the coaching staff at the Woodford Middle School. So, no, not name dropping or nothing, but, I mean, it just shows you the attraction here of the area we live in, John.
Well, we were just talking, and I was telling him, my dad, at one time when Charlie Bradshaw and those guys, before they had student trainers, my dad was part of the one-on-one club and various things, and he helped. My brother, who's about 14 years older than me, got to hold the locker room doors open and do all this stuff over at UK, and my dad told me stories about, sandball and being around these people, and one day I didn't believe my dad. And he says, well, you don't believe me? And we were sitting in the parking lot, and walks this guy about 6'5", 6'6", and he said, hey, Wawa. He said, hey, RW, how you doing?
Ball came loose, and a turnover as Scott turns the ball over. It looks like West Jessamine recovered it on the play, and they did. 61 for the Colts. That's Bobby Dowell.
So
with a recovery.
Got to meet Wawa Jones. He knew my dad, and Dad, you were right. And
don't you hate it when your parents are right?
But he told me stories of Sam Ball, and then just talking to Mr. Rich out there, he said he played with Sam Ball's son, Shane Ball, at UK during that time.
Yep.
Came in under Jerry Claiborne in '89.
I remember Shane very well. You never know who you'll meet. That's the good thing about high school football on a Friday or a Saturday night here in the state of Kentucky. You never know who you'll run into. So a turnover to start the second half on the second play from scrimmage for Scott. And West Jessamine set up in good field position at the Eagle 41-yard line with 11 minutes exactly to play in the third quarter. Pierce back in there at quarterback. Good to see that. Turns, pitches to Taylor. He cuts it up after sweeping right. Gets down close to the first down at about the 33-yard line. Going to be a yard short.
It's like London in there again for Scott.
Pretty good block there coming around the edge from Keaton, the wide out there. You see at the bottom of your screen, number 85.
There's no doubt in what West Jessamine's going to do. They're going to give it to Taylor, and if he can get that first or second block, watch out.
Give a sniff occasionally to his fullback Penman just to keep the defense honest and keep Penman.
Well, I mean, and then Justin King has been the only other guy that's got, I think, had the ball. Maybe Cossack. No, that was on defense. No,
Pierce turns, gives it off to Taylor. Big hole up the middle, sprints off to the right side. One man to beat. We'll give him 6.
33 yards.
And Taylor creeping ever closer to that school rushing record. And he's
fired up now.
He's fired up, but I tell you, he's probably heard the whispers about it. And he's running, number one, with a purpose, but running with the thought of, I'm going to knock this thing out in week 1.
And the one thing what I like about Taylor is, I mean, we've seen, players tonight, they get fired up and they kind of take their emotions and show it to the other team. He's walking off the sideline. It's all him and his team.
Correct. And that, of course, you do that and you try not to embarrass anybody. New guy getting on the field there for West Jessamine a little late. The extra point snap. Again, a bad snap. A nice job by the holder. They get it up, and it just clears the crossbar. And it's 13-7 in favor of West Jessamine with 10:04 to play. So they turn a turnover into points. It took them 2 plays to do it, to go 41 yards.
Old turnover game bites you in the butt right there for the Eagles.
Yep, and that's the only turnover of the night so far. We do have a final out of Bardstown. Woodford loses to Nelson County 41-12. Of course, that one doesn't surprise me because I know what Woodford's got coming back and how young they are, but Nelson, a pretty good ball club, and you never know what you're going to get on week 1.
2 years ago, Woodford had a really good team, didn't they?
Yeah, actually it was about 3 years ago.
3 years ago?
Yeah, no, I take it back. 5 years ago.
Who was the?
Chris Tracy, the coach at Franklin County now. Of course, Steve Stonebreaker in his 4th year over there at Woodford, and they got to the playoffs only once so far in his tenure. Unfortunately, they had to go on the road to Highlands.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and that was my first introduction to Patrick Tolles.
Yeah.
I looked down at their coaching staff, and guess what? They've got one of the the family. The son played played tight end at the University of Cincinnati not too long ago. Gaduli, one of the Gaduli.
Well,
he was a quarterback. The quarterback coach was Jared Lorenzen. The tight end coach was Derek Smith.
And then Chris Collinsworth walking the sidelines.
He was the wide-out coach. Here's London. He bobbles it, comes up left, gets a crease. There's a flag behind the play, though. It's going to come back. I think we're going to get a block in the back on an Eagle, I believe.
You know, we mentioned earlier you were talking about Jared Lorenzen and Patrick Tolles, and I was thinking, I couldn't quite remember, but Gino Gaduli.
Yeah. And Gaduli, his dad now runs some kind of football strength school up in the north. Like they need more help up in that area.
Wow.
There's a block in the back on Scott. London bobbled, and that's usually where you run into some issues. You'll either get a long kickoff return because of a botched kick return like that. The coverage team will kind of relax their guard because the guy bobbled it and maybe fumbled it around a couple of times. And then also you run into trouble as the return team because you may get a block in the back because of that botched kick.
You know, we keep mentioning Tom Larkey, West Jessamine. Their next game they go down to Rock Castle.
Well, the Rock is not the Rock anymore. A couple other scores to report, Johnny. We got a couple over there, but I've got these two here. Over in the Death Valley Bowl at Lincoln County, the host Patriots fall to Boyle 41-0, and Garrett County over Casey County 23-0 in that one.
Grayson County over Hancock County 26-20.
That was a surprise one, I thought. And that happened at Hancock County. They don't lose there very much, the Hornets don't. Castleman tripped up after a gain of 1. It'll be 2nd down and 9 as the Eagles start from the shadow of their own goal post, trailing it now 13-7.
You know, I mean, looking at the schedule, West Jessamine, I mean, they could get off to a great start. Rockcastle, Mercer, Western. I mean, they could be going in the East Jessamine game 4-0.
The one hiccup there could be the Mercer County game. Could be. Here's the quarterback.
Well, they had that
Osborne.
game last year at Mercer. I think this one's at West.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had that game last year and blew it right there at the end. We did that game last year.
Gain of a couple for Osborne. It'll bring up 3rd and about 5 for the Eagles, but a big 3rd down here for the Eagles to try to convert, trailing 13-7 as we're barely 3 minutes old here in the 3rd quarter. Darren Douglas along with John Carmichael, Big John, who once again remind Wildcat Wings he'll be there Monday. Doesn't know what time, but just be ready.
Let you guys know, PrepSpin sent me there.
Yep. They turn, hand it off to Castleman. Stood up in the hole. He breaks a tackle, still drives forward. Going to be close to the 1st down.
They had him, but they just couldn't get him down.
I believe he needed the 15 or the 16. He got to 15. So he's going to be about a yard short. So it'll be 4th and a long. Well, they're going to give him 2. 4th and 2. Well,
Darren, I mentioned to you earlier, I didn't think we'd see a punt, but
it doesn't look like it. It looks like Scott's going for it here out of the shadow of their own goalpost.
Wow.
A la Hal Mummy. Hello, hello, hello.
If I was
big
Coach Markham,
play here.
I would call a timeout right here. Make them think about it.
Osborne with the snap. He'll shovel it over to Castleman.
He's got it.
That's the right corner. He has the first down, lowers his shoulder, gets up over the 20. And a first down. Boy, that play was ugly from the start. A bad snap. Osborne able to rescue it, and then he just kind of flipped it out there with both hands to Castleman.
It was all Castleman.
And the only pretty thing about it was Castleman gets the first down and then finishes off the run.
If I was Coach Markham, though, I would have took a time out there and made him think about it.
Possibly. Boy, I tell you, Coach Woolley pulled a page out of his old head coach and Bill Cronin over there at Georgetown College. High snap again. Osborne pulls it down, rolls left, gives ground and throws incomplete, and a flag coming late. And I think they're going to get 73 for Scott. That's the big offensive lineman, Fitzwater. If you're 6'5" and 270, you kind of stand out when you're downfield too far.
He tried to get it to the big fullback that time.
Yeah, he's every bit of 250 himself. He's not a small thing.
Well, when I first looked down there, I thought, well, he's throwing it to the lineman.
Yeah, he's built like one, that's for sure. He is a big boy. We're going to get a ineligible receiver downfield as Fitzwater was too far downfield. I believe that's a loss of down. To ineligible receiver downfield. Repeat first down. That's right. That is intentional grounding is a loss of down at high school ranks now. So it'll be 1st and 15 for Scott. And I don't get the impression, John, that Osborne, the quarterback for the Eagles, is very comfortable rolling. I think he's more comfortable when he's in a pass formation in the pocket. Osborne fakes the pitch back to Castleman, cuts it up. He makes a tackle in the clear. One man to beat. He has a blocker out in front of him, and he's chased down inside West Jessamine territory by that one-man ball.
Beautiful ball fake that time by Osborne. Faked the pitch, tucked it, and took off.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know what kind of quarterbacks are up in the northern Kentucky area, but the young man you see in the middle of your screen there, number 14 in white, has impressed me so far in this one. A nice quarterback. He's a little winded right now, so you may, if you're Coach Woolley and his staff, turn and give it to number 12. let Osborne rest a minute. The snap is high. Give it hard to Brinkman. Brinkman gets a block from Castleman. And then a nice play coming in from behind by Evan Collins for West Jessamine. Stops Brinkman after a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8 for the Colts.
I've noticed 59 there. James Smith, that shoulder pad's been hanging out there the whole game.
Is that bugging you?
Yeah.
It must be a pet peeve of yours.
You know, you would thought he would fix that at halftime.
No, that's on his teammates, man. Fine. Hey, come on. You dress back here again. Well, I found out what pet peeve John Carmichael has. A shoulder pad hanging out of a jersey.
You got to look good.
The snap to the quarterback, Osborne, as I've now all of a sudden lost my train of thought.
He got him.
Penman got him, and there comes a flag. So you get the loss on the sack from Penman of Osborne. Now you're going to get an extra 5 tacked on for illegal or intentional grounding, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, I think
and so it turns out to be a big loss.
Penman has done a great job all night long coming off that right side. He's fast, quick.
Now, since when did the officials go with a logo on their hat? Does that say KHSAA on the hat there? Is that new this year?
It could be like the jockeys, you know, you got the advertising.
My goodness, we have gone corporate. We have gone major corporate.
You might say Rafferty's on there.
I don't know. I mean, good. Scott Lindsay, we're going to warn you. Gary Ball and myself are on my way to Bowling Green tomorrow night. So they screen out here to Wolf, the tight end. He breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle, and gets it back up over the 40-yard line to about the 42. And it'll be 4th and long for Scott, and they're going to punt it away.
Carson Ball in there to clean that up.
Now, somebody may ask, why is Scott going to punt it now away out at the 41-yard line where they went? Well, simple. 4th and 1 from inside your own 10 to 4th and 20 down in distance. The simple fact is the latter part, the distance part. Although Bill Cronin is his head coach, don't be surprised of a fake here.
Is that the punter coming on
late?
Nope,
that's the protector, the personal protector there. I have seen a punter come in late.
Well, that's
the punter is Trey Davis. Yeah, he gets it off. He'll come to the hop to Taylor at the 12. And he can't get away, and I believe that's that man London again, isn't it?
That was 33.
Is it 33?
DeAndre Pleasant.
And Pleasant with a nice tackle there on special teams for the Eagles.
Another sophomore.
Pleasant, a sophomore. We have a lot of kids playing a lot of big roles in both these games that are sophomores for the 4 teams here tonight.
Yeah.
In case you didn't join us earlier in game number 1, it was, I went totally blank.
South Oldham.
South Oldham. I knew it was an Oldham school, but I didn't know which one.
South.
Thank you, John, for helping me out.
Yeah.
South Oldham 30, East Jessamine 8. In game number 1, as you see the score here, is 13-7 in favor of West Jessamine. The Colts with their worst starting field position of the night at their own 10. They lead it by 6. The clock under 6 minutes and rolling. Or not rolling, it's a stop clock. It's a change of possession. Pierce under center. Turns, gives it off to Taylor.
Oh, they got him that time.
And there is William Teasley, the linebacker.
Elijah Miller in there as well.
Teasley came untouched on a blitz, and Taylor didn't have a shot at all at getting going there. So it'll be 2nd down and 15. A loss of 5 on the play.
I think Taylor's favorite play is sweep right.
Well, if you're a Green Bay Packer fan, student body right, student body left. I mean, somebody said, what's that mean? Just simply get everybody out in front. That's all it means. Pierce turns, gives it off to Taylor, hitting the backfield, breaks that tackle, though, breaks a free, and he's gone. Nobody's going to catch him.
95 yards.
Taylor will take it to the house, and you can give him 6. 95 yards, and I believe that might give him the school record.
I think you're right.
A 95-yard touchdown run straight up the middle. And when he broke free, there was nobody in the back. And I've never run that far in my life. You'd have probably had to give me a golf cart to get me the rest of the way from about the 40-yard line in.
You know, I was sitting there thinking, you know, who's going to look at Taylor? You know, Coach Stoops, you know, bring him on, walk on. I mean, you never know.
I don't know. He's one of those tweener sizes.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough to.
Well,
the extra point snap, again, a problem. But again, the holder with a nice job of getting it up on the tee, and the kick is good.
You know, he runs hard, and he is over 200 pounds.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask you, Bourbon County, Hopkins, where did he go?
Montavious Hopkins, I have no idea.
Because UK was looking
But
at him.
I'll tell you
one
what,
time.
I will let you know here in the next week or so. I will get in touch with some people. People will get in touch with my people, and, you know.
Well, you know, before the season, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, he was under the radar, but I tell you what, as you get a good look at Coach Markham talking to his center, Brady Stevens, and just like that,
Well, I'll tell you what, Taylor is going to be.
It's 20-7, West Jessamine.
He's going to be a handful for District 6.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, you can't let him dictate what you're going to do defensively. What you're going to have, and if I'm a defense coordinator, you got to attack him. You can't wait back and let him make a move, because if he makes a move, he's going to leave some laundry on the field. That's just plain, pure, and simple. So you got to go get him. You got to be aggressive. You got to go get him. And I think if you go get him, you're going to cause some problems. Now, he's going to break some tackles, but I think as a defense coordinator, you got to go get him. If you don't, he's going to own you.
And he just showed us some of that new improved speed.
Right, and he's going to own you if you don't go get him. So we'll see how defensive coordinators over the season attack him.
You know, and he's camped at Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
He might end up there.
You never know. Again, though, he's over 200. Again, he's one of those tweeners. You never know. You may find a dime in the rough. You take him if you're a D1 program. This is Brinkman who bobbled it, picks it up, hurdles a guy at about the 24 and over the 25 to the 26-yard line. So Scott, who had great field position after a kick return from London a moment ago, and kind of turned it over. Well, they did turn it over.
What is the state all-time rushing record? Would that be Scott Russell?
That is held.
Or Jude?
No, Jude is down the ranks a little bit. I think the guy that owns it now is
somebody from Breathitt County, maybe?
No. Gosh. John, if you hadn't told me, I could have told you. If you hadn't asked me.
Put you on the spot, didn't
I? I did. Castleman sweeps right, dropped. In the backfield for a loss. Over there on the stop was Kosick for West Jessamine. And Scott got a little frustrated there, but, they're still in this ball game. You've got 4 minutes and 20 seconds to play here in the third. You still got over 16 minutes of football to play. You're only down 2 scores.
Right.
And your defense has shown that they can contain Taylor and this West Jessamine offense. You got to, though, get your composure back if you're Scott. They turn, give it off to Brinkman, missing the backfield by Penman, gets the corner, turns it up, shakes it around the corner, lowers his head, and knocked out of bounds at about the 38-yard line, but that is a first down for the Eagles of Scott.
Now we're getting a lot of look at Brinkman now.
Yeah, Brinkman, and they complement each other really well, Brinkman and Castleman back there. And then, of course, you got that big load of a fullback in Dylan De Tata. And
Scott's got a nice-looking football team, big lineman.
Huge,
I think
typical Northern Kentucky
yeah.
style team.
A solid quarterback. There may be missing just another playmaker.
They pitch it back to Castleman. He'll swing right, gets an alley, cuts it out to the right side. Keaton in pursuit of him and drops him down inside West Jessamine territory at the 43-yard line. Open enrollment in Northern Kentucky, and then, of course, if you're the elite kids, you somehow find your way to Highlands in Fort Thomas. I tell you, like I said, when I went up there 3 years ago to Highlands, and, of course, the thing that would scare you is they got that enclosed field with the stands on one side, and you broadcast the games from what they call the media center, a.k.a. library. And you can't see one end zone on one end, but, boy, when they score, they set off this cannon, and it rattles every window in that place. Scares you to death. They don't tell you about it either. Here's Del Tata, straightened up in the middle of the line.
Yeah.
Kosick, along with Josh Preston for West Jessamine on the stop.
There's a whole stable of Colts right there.
But look down there and saw all that athletic talent down on the sidelines under Coach Dale Mueller as the coach. Another game to look forward to later on this year, I believe this takes place down in it might take place in Fort Thomas. I don't know. I have to look. They turn, give it off again. Is that Del Tata or Castleman?
Yeah, fumble.
And a fumble and a turnover to West Jessamine. Well, we've had 2 turnovers in the ball game, both turnovers by Scott. West Jessamine turned one into points. Let's see if they can do this one as well.
Well, it's football season here. I love football, but we're also basketball fans. But some of my favorite times of Highlands is watching Derek Smith and Jared Lorenzen play basketball.
Well, the hefty lefty could hoist it up. Never saw a shot he didn't like. That's for sure.
It reminded me of watching I remember watching Dennis Johnson and Julius Yeast and those guys play basketball at Harrodsburg.
Now, Dennis Johnson, now you want to talk about a kid that can move for his size. Very athletic.
There's Taylor again.
Taylor again, banging across the 45, up close to the 47-yard line. Going to give him a gain of about 5.
Dennis was a real nice guy. Kind of like a gentle giant, And I just don't think he had that nastiness that he needed.
I agree. And he didn't really need it down at the college level so much so as when he got to the pros.
Yeah. But
with the Cardinals.
Him and his brother Derek are 2 of the nicest guys. But, boy, how would you like to afford that food bill? Huh? Shoo-hoo. I'm a pretty big guy. When I met Derek,
I'm telling you, those guys.
I said, "Hey, how you doing?" He grabbed me and gave me a hug. He said, "How are you doing?" And I thought he was going to throw me across the river.
Taylor again on the carry, this time to the right side. They stop him just over the 45. He's going to be a yard short. 3rd and 1 for West Jessamine, who lead it 20-7 over Covington Scott here in the 3rd.
And that was a UK fan day.
He and both Derek are what you would call big boys.
Sure are.
3rd and 1 as Pierce looks over to the sideline.
Taylor, man, I think he's going to end up with over 200 yards.
He might.
Averaged 222 yards a carry.
Long count. They give it to Penman this time, the fullback, and he'll get the first down inside Sky territory to the Eagle 45.
You got to throw them a bone, them fullbacks.
Ever so often, yeah. Tell you what, let's give you a couple of games. Next week, if you're in Lexington, there will be a really good one. Actually, East Jessamine-Dunbar poses an interesting thing, but how about this one? Lafayette, who is getting shellacked tonight by Scott County over in Georgetown, or over Tate's Creek. They'll entertain two-time defending 3A champion, the Yellow Jackets of Louisville Central. That'll be a good one. Central lost tonight. Who beat Central? Okay, don't throw a bone out there now if you're not going to give me the information. Manuel, DuPont Manuel, Oliver Purcell. That's who it was, Dr. Oliver Purcell.
What's scary is you got Georgetown.
Taylor again.
Scott County, they have the separate ninth grade. That's why they're able to have this big school over there. And Lexington, it's overcrowded now, and they're wanting to build a new high school. What is that going to do to sports?
Where are they going to put it is what I want to know.
I assume out on Richmond Road somewhere. But
I guess. Oh,
but
my
I
goodness.
mean, it's it's going to be tough for Lexington to compete.
I agree.
I mean, when they first separated the schools here in Jessamine County, it was now they're starting to come up a little bit. Every year you would get one that somehow competes.
Pierce on the carry this time. He'll lose about a yard, so it'll be third at about 7.
The 2 years that West went to the Sweet 16, I thought you could have took a kid off of East Jessamine that was there at the same time.
Yeah. Fourth quarter getting ready to start.
Jordan Red.
Yeah.
And you put him on that West team. Him and Polson were really good friends. And I think they would have beat Louisville Central.
Could have been. Could have. I agree. 3 quarters in the books. It's West Jessamine over Scott, 20-7 here in Nicholasville in the second game of the doubleheader tonight. An earlier game, it was South Oldham over East Jessamine, 30-8. We've given you some other scores. Here's a game to mark down. And just simply because it has become a huge rivalry here in Central Kentucky over the last 10, 15 years. It'll take place in Danville, October the 4th. Lexington Catholic and Boyle County. You better get there early because there will not be any parking. There will not be any seats. The last time Lexington Catholic played Boyle in Danville, I went with Gary, our good friend Gary Ball, and we parked about 3 miles down the road, and they had to come get us with a golf cart. And we got there early. We thought we got there early. Huh? No, I didn't do that intentionally this time.
You got to watch out for the jugheads over there.
I know you do. And you got to watch for your so-called friends who kind of just zing you when you're not listening over here. You know what I'm saying? Fourth quarter getting ready to unfold. West Jessamine with the football and the lead. They have a 3rd and about 8. And I thought I saw somewhere where Highlands was supposed to play in Lexington against somebody, but I don't know who that is. Well, they're playing.
What was the big matchup you were talking about? Elam and
that's what I'm trying to find. I can't find that one here. Here's
on the front page there.
This is Taylor. I don't know. Taylor. Oh, the Highlands and John Harden game. I don't know when that is.
Elam.
Let's see when that is.
Look on the front there.
This is 16 pages. I'm not used to looking at 16 pages of sports. It is 4th and about a yard as Taylor got 7 there.
He has to be well over 200 now.
Oh, I would say so. That 95-yard run got him quite a bit there. Well, John, I made a mess of this paper. I'm telling you. Here it is. I don't know. Of course, on the front of the paper, you've got Drew Barker and Elam on top there, as you see. If you look at the paper today, I don't know when that matchup is with Highlands and John Harden. It's actually tomorrow night, I think.
Is that tomorrow?
I think so. Here is Taylor again. He'll pick up the first down for West Jessamine. It's in there somewhere. I know I saw it. There it is. Saturday, September the 14th, Highlands at John Hardin. Interesting atmosphere. You ever been to John Hardin?
6'6", 355-pound Matt Elam against Highlands tackle Scotty Turner, who's 6'4", 300 pounds.
And earthquake in Kentucky will happen that night when those two hook it up. This is Taylor. He shakes and bakes and dropped for a loss. Dropped in the backfield by number 53, Zach Franksman. Good job, discipline. That's the other thing, too, with Taylor. If you're a defender, if you don't attack him, you have to be disciplined because he'll give you a couple of shakes and bakes, and if you fall one way or the other and get off balance, he'll make you look silly. So, and Franksman did a nice job of staying square and didn't fall for any of the fakes that Taylor threw at him.
Oh.
Pierce has it go straight up out of his hands, gives it back to Taylor, and he's dropped.
Oh. Extra.
Looks like the line of scrimmage. He may have gotten a yard out of that.
A little extra push there by Davis that time. It kind of turned Taylor an awkward way, but he's able to jump right back up.
3rd and long now for the Colts, who lead it 20-7 here in the 4th quarter. Giving you some scores, and William, I still can't believe that score that William gave me a moment ago. 56-16, Scott County over Lafayette in the 2nd quarter. Wow.
Right, and you mentioned it earlier. Could Scott County this be the year that they take over 6A?
Whistle, and I think we're going to get a delay of game.
Maybe not, because we heard that Trinity was beating Innsworth, Tennessee, 26-14.
Yeah. So, you know, and Innsworth was the team who came up here last year to the Bluegrass Bowl and spanked Lexington Catholic. So, you never know. Of course, Trinity plays.
That's why we play them, isn't it?
They play 9 games instead of a 10-game regular season schedule. The only 3 games they play in the state of Kentucky are district opponents. And how would you like to be Manual, Mayo, and I can't remember the other team in their district.
That's another one. What's happened to Mayo? They used to be tough.
They got Chris Wolf, who's the head coach down there in his 3rd season, taking over for Bob Redmond. That's tough. They give it off to Taylor, who gets inside the original line of scrimmage. Gains about 7. It'll be 4th and about 5 for the Colts. Make it about 7, I should say. So 4th and 7 for West Jess, who leads it here in their opener for 2013. Next week, the Colts will be on the road down in Mount Vernon, Kentucky, when they take on the Rockets of Rockcastle. Now, I will say this. Rockcastle's down. You know, not the program they were when Tom Larkey was there, but I will say this. The Rock is always the Rock. It's a tough place to play.
Yeah.
Pierce, back to pass. Lets one fly. His arm might have gotten hit as he let it go, and the pass is caught but out of bounds. Nice job by an effort by King, but the pass took him out of bounds. And did Pierce get hit when he let that one go? Or,
I think he did.
Or because it looked like an end-over-ender.
He took a little shot.
So a turnover on downs. It'll go back to Scott with plenty of time left in this one, though. They've got to get 6 on this drive to have a shot. But a lot of good matchups in Lexington. I mean, I tell you what, I absolutely love the effect that Drew Barker has had on recruiting at UK. He is out actively seeking other top-notch recruits in-state, out-of-state, wherever you are. Here's Castleman, breaks a tackle and gets knocked down at about the 43-yard line. It'll be close to a first down. Looks like they're going to give it to him at the 44. So a gain of 11 for Castleman. Now, Castleman's had a nice game as well, kind of overshadowed by the 2 long runs by Taylor. And I say long. One was 47 to start the ball game, and one of 95 that took it to the house.
Yeah. You know, you would have thought that Lexington Catholic or, you know, one of the Lexington schools would have been able to get Drew Barker to come down to Lexington for a game this year.
There's Castleman again. And that would have been a good thing to do. Connor travels usually pretty well. And, of course, with a top 10 Elite 11 quarterback. Now, think about that. A quarterback out of Kentucky outside of Tim Couch or Jared Lorenzen or the Braun brothers.
Chris Redman.
No, I forgot about Chris Redman, yeah.
A lot of good quarterbacks.
Andre Woodson was actually a wishbone quarterback and turned into a pretty decent passing quarterback, too. They faked the toss this time. Give it off to Brinkman on the counter. Breaks a tackle, has a first down inside West Jessamine territory, lowers his head, gets inside the 40, down to about the 38-yard line. So Scott showing some life here.
Carson Ball in there to make the tackle.
Give him the 38. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Eagles.
Brinkman's had a pretty good second half.
He has, as they flip-flop Pierce in for Penman. Actually, that's number 10, it looks like. That'd be Taylor Adams. A sophomore on that right defensive side for the Colts. They give it off to Castleman. He swings around the right side, got a flag. And he'll be coming back as he goes inside the 5. He runs over Carson Ball and takes it to the house, but it's coming back. And I tell you what, remember that blocking zone I was telling you about holding and things?
Yeah.
That was inside there, and that really had nothing to do with the play. But Castleman did a nice job of patiently watching those things. And then Ball, for some reason, just kind of said, I'm going to ease up. And Castleman said, I'm going to lower that shoulder and go right over him. Actually, it's a sideline warning they're going to give. I notice it now. Coach Markham turns and tells his players. So evidently the official may have run into somebody on that West Jessamine sideline.
I wonder if that came after that play.
Well, what it is now, it's going to be if the play stands, it's a touchdown for Scott. And then what they'll do is just a warning. The first thing's a warning for the sideline. The next one's a 15-yard penalty. So the play stands. The official must have run into somebody as he went down the sideline. He has to throw the flag for that. So the play stands. It's on West Jessamine, so the score stands. So Castleman takes it 38 yards for the touchdown, and Scott creeps closer.
Well, you said they needed to get a score, and they got it.
And they got it quickly, too.
Yeah, nice run by Castleman.
Yeah, so
he's got to be over 150 yards, I think.
Yeah, easy. So you understand that rule there? They get one's a warning, two's a 15-yard penalty, 3, and every penalty after that is a 15-yard penalty.
Gotcha.
And if it's excessive, unsportsmanlike, to where it's interference on the sidelines, somebody can be ejected, usually the head coach, which means a 2-game suspension automatically for an ejection.
Wow.
How's that?
It's rough.
How'd you like to be an official now, guys? But that's one of those plays that they very emphasize. They want officials to be able to move up and down those sidelines. And they will allow 2 coaches in what they call the buffer zone, which is where the line is and the sideline. They'll allow those guys in, but it's up to those coaches now to get out of the way of an official and him doing his job. So they need to – the coaches have to not only watch what their team's doing, but watch an official and make sure he doesn't run into them. As we have a conference here, and I don't know what the conference is going to be. It's just a warning. It shouldn't be anything other than the sideline warning on West Jessamine.
Well, they're wanting to talk about it.
But you always like a sideline in front. Oh, wait a minute now. I don't know that signal. You know that one?
I don't know. Sound like it said infraction.
Yeah, he put his hand behind his back. So unless it's not a substitute infraction. I don't know what that is. But anyway. An extra point gets them. Boy, I think that West Jessamine guy may have been offsides as he runs over the kicker. Yeah, we're going to get a late flag. The extra point is no good, but Scott may get to try it again here. I would if I was the Eagles. And that was that was King. Yeah, Justin King, who came off the left and absolutely leveled. I don't know if he hit the holder or the kicker. Which one did he hit? Did you tell?
I think it was the kicker.
But it's going to be, if it's the kicker, it's roughing the kicker. It's a personal foul. It'll be half the distance of goal. So it goes from the 3-yard line to the 1.5. Now, if you're Dan Woolley, do you kick? Because the extra point was no good. So do you re-kick it or do you go for 2 here? You're down only a score and an extra point. You have nothing to lose.
I'm going to go for 2.
I think you got it 1.5 yards closer, and you've been able to do that. And it looks like he's taking the extra point team off and going to bring the offense back on. So the personal foul roughing the kicker on West Jessamine takes the ball half the distance to the goal. And the offensive unit for the Eagles is back on. They're only down 7, so if you don't get 2 here, you're still within reason of a touchdown and extra point of tying this. And with 7:17 to play, momentum in favor right now of the Eagles a little bit. Osborne turns, gives it off to Castleman, and whistles stop play as they stop the 2-point conversion. I think we had illegal procedure, which stops automatically the play in high school. Nope, offsides against the defense maybe. Yep, offsides against the defense. So that takes it half the distance to the goal now. So that makes it now at about the half-yard line. And you're splitting hairs when you get down this close.
Yeah.
Honest to goodness, saw a college game one time. They had half the distance to the goal on an offsides, and they picked it up and moved and put it right back down the same spot. There wasn't anywhere to move it.
Yeah.
So we go for 2 again. That tight formation that the Eagles have been in pretty much all night. They snap it till Del Tata, and 250 pounds. He better get that 6 inches.
No problem.
No problem, because he ran right behind Fitzpatrick on the right side, and they brought Krim, the other tackle, as they went unbalanced to that side. He ran behind the 2 big-time recruits at 6'5" and 270.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that's where I would go a lot. Unbalanced and run right behind those 2 big guys. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. I do it every time.
So with the 2-point conversion, Scott cuts that 13-point deficit to 5. At 20-15 with 7:17 to play. Now you're West. Yes, you got to answer.
Let's thank some of our sponsors
one
more time.
Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, we got to thank Dr. Durbin, Long, and Gardner, the Kentucky Center of Orthodontics, 7 Central Kentucky locations.
So no excuse not to find them.
Yeah, they're around. Dowling Dental, 2 locations in Nicholasville and Harrodsburg. Town Square Bank, Main Street in Nicholasville. The Hayden Company, Main Street in Nicholasville. American Signs and Graphics here in Nicholasville, and Wildcat Wings. Stop in for that $5 combo special Monday through Friday.
Tell them.
Yeah.
The crew of PrepSpin, not just one of us, the crew of PrepSpin said stop in and see them.
And the Hayden Company. Yeah, we got to thank the Hayden Company.
You got them. I heard you. Yeah, you got them. I got you. It's late.
I know,
and it's way past mine and John's bedtime.
Yeah.
You know, William's still one of these young bucks. He can stay up late with these guys. John and I are used to going to bed when the chickens come home. Here's an onside kick, and boy, they almost caught the Colts sleeping, but a nice play by number 28. That is Sergio Cortez, the senior for the Colts. Was able to scoop that onside kick attempt up, and I tell you what, they almost caught him napping, but
they did.
Cortez, Johnny on the spot, the only Colt front line guy that really didn't give ground when the approach was made. He stood his ground and made the play. So a big play for the Colts.
Now the coach they can't make any mistakes here. Give the ball to Taylor and work that clock.
Keep it in the kiss mode.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you can do. Pierce turns, draw play. Taylor, right side. Stuck and stopped by Wolf. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
He's talking with the official there.
I think he thought he got a little bit further than the official marked him. John, where will you guys be next week? Do you know yet? Oh, you'll be over at the Bluegrass Bowl on Saturday, right? Or are y'all doing a game on Friday, William? You're out of town, so that games are all voila, gone. No, next week, I know where you're at. Here's a handoff. Taylor.
Stiff arm. Gets
down the left side and dropped after a first down carry. Down to a late flag.
Man.
And, boy, who is that on Scott? I couldn't tell.
That was Ian Cossack. Ian Cossack coming there with a late hit.
So it's going to be
back
or something. Let's see what we got here. The official's going to have a talk, and, boy, if that's on West Jessamine, it's still going to be a first down, but, man, that's critical. You're trying to answer a call back, and you're going to get maybe a dead ball, personal foul on number 4 White. You can lip read the official there. or number 4 red, and that's on Cossack, and that's critical. It's still a first down, I do believe, because it's dead ball and it's happening from the point of stoppage. But let's see where they stopped with the 15-yard penalty. It comes back across the 40, so it's first down and 2. Nope, first and 10. You got the first down, so it's a dead ball. It comes back, so first and 10. So a critical mistake in a ball game that's close. This is where teams either win or lose games, John. You got again, you got to keep your emotions in check. It's okay to play with high energy and high emotion, but you got to learn when to turn it on and when to turn it off. A first down carry for Taylor, but they put King in the eye this time, and he stopped behind the line of scrimmage. First there was Trey Davis, and then he's finished off by number 43, Nick Thurza. That just sounds like a football name, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Thurza. And somebody said, what do you mean by what sound like a football name? Well, it's just that some names just roll off your tongue that just sound like they're just a football player. You know?
See another West player cramping up on the sideline there, getting
That
stretched
looks
out.
like is it 27? I can't tell from there.
Blake Hammond.
I formation. Taylor back in there. They turn, give it off to him. Deep. Stood up. Nice defensive play there by 33. That is DeAndre Pleasant.
Yeah, that sophomore.
Along with number 36, Logan Herzog. Herzog's been all over the place as well for Scott.
Made several plays.
And that's the thing. We talk about the star players. Castleman on the offensive side for Scott, Taylor for West. But we've had some guys step up on the defensive side of the ball that we didn't expect for both sides.
I wonder if he's from that famous Herzog family, like Whitey Herzog.
Who knows? The late Whitey Herzog, one of the best quoted managers you could ever have. They turn, pitch it back to King, and a nice play. That's 43. That's Thurza again, but the guy who came flying up there like he'd been shot out of a cannon was Andrew Hicks. He took out the lead blockers for Scott that West Jessamine had in front of Taylor. We have a flag, and they're going to have a legal procedure, maybe a legal formation. Got to have 7 men on the line of scrimmage. Maybe didn't have enough. I think that's what that is because they let the play go, so it had to be an illegal formation.
So
instead of a legal procedure. Legal procedure automatically stops the offensive play.
I guess we're going to get our first
punt of the night for either side. How about that? Now we've had one punt from Scott as well.
Did we?
Yeah. Because we were shocked because it was Davis that did it. Trey Davis.
Oh, you're right. Pretty good punt, too.
Yeah. The snap is low, and the snap is off. Flag on the play. Maybe holding on the far side. I think I may have seen a hold. Oh, actually, it wasn't more of a hold. It was more of a takedown on the far side. And it is on West Jessamine. It's illegal motion. So maybe 2 men in motion at the same time.
West Jessamine, they've had trouble in the past,
Penalties?
With penalties and learning how to finish games.
Yeah.
It's Mercer County game last year. I think there was another one.
Mm-hmm. Well, we saw that really was East Jessamine's undoing in the first game. They had a number of penalties that really stopped a couple of drives, which, could or could not have made a difference in that ball game. But, if you're Coach Bowling, you wanted to find out for sure. So West Jessamine with a critical penalty there. And they'll have to re-kick it as Cossack comes in at the last minute for West Jessamine. The snap back is a good one this time. The kick away, and this is a much better kick. Pleasant fields it in on the run. Off to the right side. Gets up over the 30 and runs out of bounds. And a flag out of the backside. And then another one, I think, came in from the other side. So I think we're going to have offsetting penalties. Maybe a hold on West or on Scott, and then maybe a late hit out of bounds on West. Let's see what we've got here with 4:13 to play.
Coach Markham holding his hands up like what
the head official in this crew's gotten a whole lot of face time.
Yeah.
And he's thinking, when I get home, watch this later on, good thing I shaved this morning, huh?
Let's see if penalties.
Yeah, this is probably going to be be a live ball penalty on Scott.
I just seen Coach Markham put his thumbs up.
Well, they were telling him to get back, and I think he was saying okay.
Oh.
Conference of the officials you see here on the near side. Now we're going to get the call here from the head official. The first one is illegal formation on West Jessamine. We have a personal foul, and they're going to offset, and they're going to re-kick it on the far side. Well, I didn't see the penalty, the first penalty. I didn't see the illegal formation, and that may have been Cossack who came in late and didn't get up on the line of scrimmage on the far side. So let's see. They're going to talk it over some more. Hold on a minute. Get it right. I'd much rather the officials talk for 15, 20 minutes and get it right or not.
Yeah.
So he comes over to explain to Coach Markham. And it's, the illegal formation on West Jess. And then a personal foul on Scott. Both of them were live balls, so we'll re-kick it. So in the long run, all we did was lose 5 seconds.
Well, you know what I would do here? I would forget the punt. I'd fake it. Catch them off guard.
Well,
they never expect
you might, but I can tell you right now, growing up and playing 4 years of college football over there under Bill Cronin, I guarantee you Dan Woolley has seen it all, and he's probably got his team ready for maybe a fake. Because they talk about how Hal Mumme changed football in the state of Kentucky when he came here. Well, Bill Cronin and Kevin Donnelly were doing that long before Hal Mumme got here. And somebody said, well, how do you know? Well, my mom went to Georgetown College. I was a student at Georgetown College. I had been a fan of Georgetown College for a long time. And I have seen those guys pull out some of the stuff Hal Mumme did. They just did it at a lower level and didn't get a ton of the recognition.
Yeah.
But it was new to UK, and that's what happened.
Bill Cronin, was he coached Madison Central before?
He was an assistant head coach and offensive coordinator under Kevin Donnelly when they started their run in the early 90s. And then he went to Madison Central when Donnelly – actually, they all went to Indiana, Pennsylvania and coached at the D school. And we'll finish this in a minute. Here's the third punt for ball. His leg's getting tired. Well, I should say Cody Anderson. This is Pleasant. Gets hit, breaks a tackle, gets a block, gets around the corner, breaks another tackle, gets up over the 20 to the 21-yard line. So all in all, we go right back to about the line of scrimmage where Pleasant returned the previous kick. And we'll do it there. So with 3:59 to play in the fourth quarter, Scott is 79 yards away from taking the lead. So anyway, then they all went up there as a group and came back down. Cronin did to Madison Central as the head coach. Took a bunch of the former guys from over there, players, coached at Central. And then when the job came open after 3 years of under Bob Brush at Georgetown, Bill Cronin went there and has been there ever since, and has won two national titles. So that's the story. And everybody says, why are you so big on Georgetown? Well, these guys here, we may see a bunch of these guys from West, East, South Oldham, whatever. Was that Anders that made the tackle?
Cotter Huntley.
Boy,
I'll tell you,
never see the punter making a tackle on the point of attack unless it's breaking the.
A young man that I played Pee Wee football with and Little League baseball. Friends with him at Henry Clay. Was NIL American. Tyrone Groves.
Played at Georgetown.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember Tyrone.
Then
the bespectacled.
Yeah.
And he wore the goggles, the Eric Dickerson style goggles. Yeah. I remember Tyrone. Oh man.
Then another Henry Clay guy. Played basketball and then 1 year of football, Alan McCowan.
Jump out of the late Alan McCowan, unfortunately. Passed away sometime last year of a heart attack.
Really?
Down in Australia, yeah.
Wow. Did not know that.
He was living down in Australia. He played professionally down there. Unfortunately, passed away about a year ago. Yeah, year and a half ago of a heart attack. Yeah, it just shows you life is short and sometimes not so pleasant for some. Quarterback Osborne on the keeper gets about 3 up to the 24-yard line.
How old was Alan McCown then?
35, 36, maybe something like that. Maybe a little bit. He might have been a little bit older than that. Yeah. Wasn't very old. I mean, I know that. So,
just playing in a game or just still playing
at home?
Huh?
At home.
Wow.
Yep. So, of course, we have the passing of R.J. Corman here this week. Our condolences to his family and everything he's meant to not only Nicholasville, but Central Kentucky in general.
Yeah.
Osborne gives it off to Castleman, and he's dropped for a loss.
Ian Cossack in there.
Also, number 30, Josh Preston for the Colts. Clock runs at 3 minutes and 5 to play in the ball game. 20-15, West Jasmine, and what has been a very good one. Timeout. An official's timeout. Be 3rd and 10. Oh, got to get a new football. Got to get the football in there. They didn't have another football in there yet. 3rd and 10 for the Eagles. They are in 4-down territory, and now a timeout from the Eagles. So they get a timeout. And, now let me ask you this. Since we're just underway here in the 2013 season, what 2 teams in each class do you expect to see in Bowling Green?
Well,
we'll start with Class 5. Let's start with Class A.
Class A. Let's see. Well, you always have the Mayfield.
Mm-hmm. I think they're the class of the western part of the state, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I like Williamsburg.
Skylar Williamson, guy that we covered a few years ago back in the Skylar Griffith, I should say, the quarterback for the Yellow Jackets down there. That's a good pick. I will tell you, Fairview came out of this half of the state last year with a perfect season. It upset Beechwood at Beechwood in the second round of the playoffs. I'm going to say the Tigers of Beechwood get back there, and it'll be Mayfield and Beechwood again. That's Class A. We got 5 more to go, and we'll take it after. We'll start up after this play. 2:52 to play. 3rd and 10 from their own 30-yard line for the Eagles. And the tight end, number 36, Logan Herzog. When you're out there on the end of the line, it's easy to see you move. Class 2A.
2A. I'm going to go with Caldwell County.
I think the Tigers will get back there again as well. And their opponent?
How about Bardstown? You were talking about them.
Could be Bardstown, but I'm thinking it could be Newport Central Catholic again, even though they lose their head coach. Eddie Evanston is back at Georgetown as the offensive coordinator. And in 2 seasons, he does nothing but go to 2 state championship games and win them both. So I think Newport Catholic will get back there again. 3A for the 4th year in a row, Central and Belfry. How about that one? Here's a pass, and now Osborne somehow gets out of trouble and stretches for the first down. He's going to be close. But I think he's going to be run out of bounds a couple of yards short. But 3A, I think that's simple. Those 2 are the class, Belfry and Central for year number 4.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
And they have been classic games.
Well, we got a local team there, Bourbon County.
Yeah, but they lose Keontae Davis, and that's a whole bunch of offense to lose. I still think, Belfry and Central, they've been classic games in the state finals for the last 3 years. I think it'll be another one. 4th and 4. Play of the night with 2:40 to play. Osborne.
Oh.
They snap it to Del Tata, the big fullback. He's got the first down up over the 45-yard, up the 40 to the 42-yard line. First down, Eagles. And, boy, I tell you, everybody in the stadium thought Castleman coming to the right side. They direct snap it to the big fullback, and he lowers that big frame and barrels for the first down.
No craftiness going on.
They snap it. Castleman, inside handoff. Brinkman breaks the line of scrimmage down the left sideline into Colt territory inside the 35 to the 31-yard line. First down, Eagles. Class 4A.
Well, we got Highlands.
I think Highlands, and then the winner of Catholic and Boyle County.
Yeah, I can go with that.
With an outside shot of maybe Collins getting back there again.
Knox Central.
Yeah. Timeout coming from West Jasmine, Coach Yancey Markham as we get to the next play. Boy, Collins or Scott right back up the line of scrimmage, but Coach Markham going to slow down the tempo here. So a timeout with Scott on the move with 2:08 to play. 4th and 4 from
I'm 5A, Bowling Green, but I think
Bowling Green and who?
Destiny, Drew
Okay.
Barker, Connor.
If Bowling Green can get through John Harden for the 4th year in a row. They won it on the last play from scrimmage last year on a hook and ladder and then a 2-point conversion on the road to Bowling Green.
6A, I think Scott County. St. X, maybe.
I think St. X will get there under Will Wolford for the first year in a long time because they're opposite brackets of Trinity. I think the Cardinals get the Shamrocks this year.
But this is the first time I think Henry Clay maybe will make some noise again.
Maybe Elijah Bell and company, and they've got a ton of speed. 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line of West Jessamine. They give it off to Castleman, dropped for a loss.
Justin King.
King with a big defensive play for the Colts. A loss of 2 on the play, 2nd and 12. We're under 2 to play, clock rolling. Scott, a field goal does them no good. They need 6. A look at the defensive linebackers for the Colts.
Oh, man, what a fake.
What a fake, and breaks a tackle inside the 20, down to the 5. He goes in, and up they say he stepped out of bounds inside the 10 at about the 8. A great fake by Osborne, and Castleman, give Castleman credit. He carried out a fake.
Yeah, he sold it.
Mm-hmm.
He could have won an Emmy.
And now Wolf,
an Oscar,
the tight end over there for Scott, an Emmy, a Sky, whatever you want to call him, a Dove Award. I mean, any award that has to do any kind of acting of any type, he carried it out beautifully. And timeout, I think Scott called their second timeout, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, here they come to the line of scrimmage. New tight end on the far side. I can't tell the number. Actually gone to a big lineman over there. They turn, give it off to Castleman. Krim pulling. Doesn't get his block. He missed his block. His block was Carter Hahn, and Hahn makes the play. Krim missed him. Walt ran right by him. And Hahn took advantage and made the tackle. Drops Castleman for a loss. 1:15, the clock rolls.
Colts have got some fight in them.
And Scott going to take a timeout. So timeout, Covington. Is it timeout, Scott, or now we got a football situation again?
And Coach Markham, he don't like that. He's like, come on now. He wants that clock to run.
Well, they got the ball boys right there next to you. See them there on the right of your, or the left of your screen next to the official. They give it off to Castleman on that sweep. They got Krim out front. This time he gets his block. Castleman darts in, darts out, cuts it back, stood up, still on his feet, and goes down at about the 9-yard line. We're under a minute to play, and timeout, Scott.
Castleman, he's tough as nails.
Well, he got hit a couple of times, spun around, stayed on his feet. Unfortunately for him, he was knocked down inbounds and Coach Woolley and his staff had to call a timeout. You like the grit and determination of both Taylor and Castleman, but sometimes in situations like this with the clock running, either go down quickly if you get hit or go out of bounds.
Right.
And Castleman's exhausted. Now, I will say this, and I'm going out on a limb. We will not see 2 more entertaining running backs than these 2. Yeah. We may see 1, but I don't think we'll see 2 in the same game. It'll be a while. So 20-15, West Jessamine on top of Scott with 54.5 seconds to play. A big 3rd down and goal for Scott. Now, Scott's been running the football.
Yeah, we got to watch that pass.
You got to watch Brinkman over here on the right side if you're the Colts.
If you're a defense, what do you do here, Dan?
Well, you got to stop the run. You got to watch for Osborne, the quarterback, or Castleman. And then you got to watch Brinkman. You got to watch a lot of stuff with this motion in the backfield from Scott. They snap it to Osborne. He fakes, cuts it up the middle, gets down inside the 5, maybe to the 4. 4th and goal. Scott has to get it in with 43 seconds. Clock running. They're taking a lot of time. Now with 38 seconds to play, and Scott's going to take a time. Boy, they lost 10 seconds off the clock at least. before they take a timeout here. So if you've joined us late for some reason, where you been? You've missed a good one. But we're glad you're here with us for the last 35.7 seconds, though, John, as West Jessamine trying to hang on. And Scott trying to punch in the go-ahead score here with 35.7 seconds to play.
Exciting football game. It's come down to the wire.
We thought we had the makings of a good one here. Game one, we thought we had the makings of a good one too, but South Oldham just pretty much took it to East Jessamine in the second half. The first half, it was pretty much even, but the second half belonged to the Dragons. They won 30-8. This one has been nip and tuck all the way. The difference right now is 5. The turnover battle in favor of West Jessamine. However, they are in danger of falling behind here very late. The West Jessamine crowd you hear below us. You get a look at the sideline for the Colts. A big play here early in the 2013 season. 4th and goal for the Eagles. They snap it. They give it to Castleman. The reverse to Brinkman. Did he get there? Give him 6.
Wow.
Wow, and a nice block by Wolf, the tight end. You see him there. He was the guy that Brinkman followed into the end zone.
They had it read right, but
they did. West Jessamine was there, but Wolf made a nice block, give a nice a very small one, albeit, to Brinkman, and then Brinkman smelled end zone and just bulled his way there.
Wow.
Now, it's not over, folks. Don't go anywhere. 29.6 seconds. I'll tell you now, because Taylor will be deep. And if you're Coach Woolley, do you kick it to him deep? Tell you my answer, no. Not a chance. Now then you squib it. Now you give him short field. Yeah. What do? So we're not over, folks. Don't go anywhere. If you're a West Jessamine fan, don't throw in the towel just yet. It's not over.
How many timeouts does West Jessamine have?
2, I believe.
So they'll probably get
29.6 seconds is a long time. The 2-point conversion by the quarterback. Did he get there? Boy, what?
I don't think the clock started.
Well, it's a 2-point conversion. It should be dead, the clock.
Okay.
But did he get there or not? Or what in the world? Now this, they're going to say he didn't get there. Well, the back judge is the one that came in and said no, but I tell you what, the guy who had the best view is the guy here on the near side.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what in the world he was looking at, but oh well. The 2-point conversion is no good, and everybody asks why you do that. Well, you take the field goal chance out away from West Jessamine.
Well, I'd say they'd have to get down to the 15-yard line.
At least, yes. But now the field goal can win it for West Jessamine if they get there. So don't go anywhere. Well, yeah, but I'm guaranteeing you Coach Woolley and the Scott staff's not going to kick it deep. If they kick it deep, they need to be admitted. Of course, everybody's thought the same thing. Anderson County last year in the playoffs had Franklin County beat at Franklin County. Onside kicked it all night long. The last kickoff after taking the lead with 8 seconds to go in the game, unexplainably, they kick it deep. And Ryan Timmons took it 85 yards to the house.
I can't wait to watch him play next week.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to see just how good a player he is. At the high school level, fantastic. We'll see how he is at SEC level. He has the speed, no doubt about it.
Let me ask you something. You been drinking that Louisville Kool-Aid?
No.
Me neither.
Soft schedule. They will go undefeated. They don't play anybody. Unfortunately, they do play the Cats, and I will go out on a limb. I don't think Kentucky will beat Louisville, but I won't be shocked if they do either. They kick it, and it goes out of bounds. Now, here's a decision to make. Does Coach Markham take the ball at the 35, or does he make them kick it again?
I'm going to kick it again.
I'd back them up 5 yards and make them kick it again. They're going to look like they're going to take the football at the 35. Well, no time ran off the clock, so that's an advantage for West Jessamine.
Yes.
But that would have been one that I would thought about taking the 5-yard penalty, backing them up to their 35 to kick it. and make them kick it again.
Power sweep, I would have told Taylor, get out of bounds.
I agree. Actually, if you got any timeouts left, you can still run the ball in the middle with him. If you're Scott, you key on the man that dots the I right there.
That'd be a great ending to this game to see him take this.
It would be. We've had an exciting conclusion to this one so far. The end of the story has not been written yet. Taylor dots the I. Twin receivers to the left, one back to the right. Pierce back to throw. Throwing for King, just out of his reach. Well, they crossed up the Eagles.
Yeah.
They even crossed you and I up here.
Yeah.
Good. I think I like the play call, to be honest with you. Take a shot. The play takes 4 seconds. 25.4 to play. 2nd and 10. That doesn't matter. The two things that matter is the score on the board right now and the time. And I think I know what Coach Markham was thinking. I'm crossing them up, throwing the ball. I'm going to get down, hopefully, into field goal range with this. We can win it on a field goal. But if Taylor takes it to the house, that's fine too. But he was looking for that field goal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they've had trouble with the snap all night, so on the field, on the extra point. So who knows? Same formation. Pierce back to throw again. He's going to run the same play. He's got King. Almost intercepted by London. King turns defender, and he knocks it down 3rd. And they came back on the same play. I think they liked the matchup, the senior King on the sophomore London. However, London's pretty athletic.
Yeah, he is.
But King got behind him a little bit. The ball slightly underthrown.
Maybe they're setting him up for the run here.
Scott's got so many people back right now. I would agree with that, but they're giving you short stuff. They're in the prevent. You know what where the prevent came from? It prevents teams from winning.
Yeah.
It doesn't prevent teams from losing. It prevents teams from winning. And I'm talking about the defensive teams from winning. Because 9 times out of 10, you lose when you play prevent. Swing pass out here to Keaton. He throw. It might have been tipped. I think Thurza got a hand on it. So 4th down for West Jessamine. And Coach Markham, I think, is going to take a timeout here. Either that or he's going to take a timeout.
I don't know, Double D.
4th and 10. It's come down to this final play, and
sometimes you got to stay with you.
Stay with the horse that brought you?
Yeah, stay with your butter that did you put on your butter?
Well,
your
yeah. Well, here's the thing. Here's my thinking on that. I understand the thinking with Coach Markham and his staff. We catch them off guard, they're going to key on Taylor. But that being said, when you have Secretariat in the backfield, you don't give it to an old nag. I mean,
I agree with that.
Taylor's gotten you there. I mean, you need to ride him.
Yeah, right. I mean, I agree with
you
on the first play, but then I think you go back to Taylor.
I think so too.
You know, he's gotten you positive yards.
Well, everybody knows he's going to get it. He knows he's going to get it. He's hoping he's going to get it. He's going to run probably extra hard, more so than he did earlier in the ballgame. And there's always the threat of him breaking one. Now, if he, and the clock's going to stop on a 1st down at the high school level. So, that being said, ride him, get yourself into field goal range, and take your chances there unless he takes it to the house. But make Scott make a play on your best player.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgive myself for the old nag reference there, but I think that was a pretty good analogy, though.
Yeah.
And West Jessamine, they'll throw it occasionally, but I think their forte is number 11 back there, carrying it about 30 times a game at least. 4th and 10. If you're West Jess, you've got to get a 1st down. That's first priority right now. And then you worry about getting yourself in field goal range. They run the reverse. Tahan gets a block from Taylor. He's going to be stopped short of the 1st down by about 3 yards. And Scott High School is going to come in here and pull this one out of the fire with a touchdown late. And again, the bugaboo that in the past has hurt the Colts finishing games.
Yeah.
But Scott with a 21-20 win here in Nicholasville in what has been a very entertaining game.
Yeah.
But again, we go back to a couple of things. Number one, the critical penalties on West on a couple of drives where they were really moving the football, stalled it.
The first half.
Well, I go back to the one late here in the fourth quarter.
Exactly.
They could have maybe scored to go up 2 touchdowns to really salt it away. And Scott will move to 1-0. West Jessamine to 0-1 in what was a fantastic football game. And folks, these two may meet if they both get to the playoffs.
And how things can change on a dime.
Mm-hmm. West Jessamine rolling behind the legs of not only Taylor, but King as well at times. And then you had Penman with a few carries. The West Jessamine defense standing up big time. I think late in the fourth quarter, maybe the numbers of players going both ways for West Jessamine may have caught up with them.
Yeah.
In critical positions.
And I noticed this about West Jessamine. At the beginning of the game, they come out with a lot of hunger, a lot of passion and fire. The second half, they come out with a lot of hunger and passion. It's just how they finish.
Now, let me say this. A program that has been, I don't want to say dormant, but has not been used to winning consistently in the last several years. It's all about attitude. And early in the game, it's there. They believe they can win and stuff. But then maybe one thing goes wrong in a game, maybe a turnover or a critical penalty or a blown assignment, whether it be defensively or offensively, that doubt creeps in their mind again and maybe rears its ugly head like, oh, wait a minute, here we go again, or something to that effect. I don't see that with this team as what I've seen tonight and last year, but maybe it's still there at times when things do not go the way they hope they will.
I think it's in them to turn the corner,
Well, they're right there.
They're right there.
They're right there. It's going to take them winning a game like tonight, I think, maybe to push them over the edge and get them over that hump.
I agree.
But nonetheless, West Jessamine falls to Scott High School by a final score of 21-20 in game number 2 of the Visit Nick.com Bowl here in Nicholasville. And we're going to get some post-game awards. We'll get the trophies to both teams, and then we'll get the players of the game for both Scott and West Jessamine. West Jessamine, I don't think there's any doubt who it is. It's number 11, Devin Taylor. For Scott, it could be one of two people. It could be either the quarterback being Osborne or Josh Castleman.
Mm-hmm.
Or, then again, you can throw in Nick Brinkman, who scored the game-winning touchdown. So we'll see what happens here as we go through the post-game awards ceremony, and that's Coach Markham getting the trophy from the Visit Nick.com Bowl. But I tell you what, his ball club right there tonight had a 20-7 lead late in the fourth quarter with about 6 minutes to go. Scott got a touchdown, then a big defensive stop after a couple of critical penalties against West Jessamine pushed them back. They were able to stop them on downs. Then got a punt. And Devin Taylor, I think that was a foregone conclusion, and had a huge night. And we don't know his final stats, but he did. I'm sure he came really, really close to breaking the school's all-time rushing record tonight.
I think they just said he did. So.
And
what do he need to get that 200?
238, I think, to break it. 237 to tie it. There's Coach Woolley. And, yes, folks, he got his nickname because of his beard. They called him Woolley as well, Woolley Wool. And Castleman is the player of the game for Scott. I tell you, you could have given it to one of the three that I just mentioned, Brinkman, Osborne, or Castleman. And Castleman, very deserving, but you could have given it to any of the three that we just mentioned for the Scott High Eagles.
Yeah.
And they have some soccer games over at West Middle. I think William has given us the sign to cut off, but I do know where the PrepSpin Network will be next week. they'll be in Versailles for the Governor's Bowl.
There you
The
go.
Yellow Jackets, who fall at Nelson County tonight to go 0-1 on the season, doesn't get any easier. They host the Madison Central Indians in the Governor's Bowl, the 20th annual Governor's Bowl. So that's where William and myself will be. I think I'm with Mac that night. Am I right? I'm with Mac Calvert that night. So you can join Mac Calvert and myself for all the action of the Governor's Bowl from Woodford County next week. So the final scores from tonight, game 1, it was South Oldham 30, East Jessamine 8, and in the nightcap, a good one, Scott High School out of Covington over West Jessamine 21-20. So for William Warfield, our producer, John Carmichael, I'm Darren Douglas saying so long from Nicholasville.